There we go, we're recording now. So, you ready? I'm ready.
Yeah.
Okay. 3, 2, 1, go. Hello everyone, this is Celestial Exodus, and I'm here with my friend the Lizard Wizard.
Oh, fuck, I forgot about that.
Yeah, you
Damn
forgot
it.
about the Lizard Wizard.
Damn it.
Look it up. Look it up, kids. So, I'm Rasen.
Oh, I'm Zach. Hi.
Hi, we're recording episode 21 of We Are Finally Podcast. And
Hey,
we're doing
Rosin.
this... Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna cut off your great segue. You know how when you said your name, I was slightly delayed and like, distracted?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Tell them why.
Oh, is it because we're doing this live and you're listening to the Twitch audio?
Well, no, I'm not listening to Twitch audio. I was just reading the chat.
Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, we're doing this live on Twitch. I don't know why. You know, because we can drink now, that's why. Because it's WAFP 21.
Ugh, that's gross.
Yeah. So, we've been doing things.
Yeah, we have.
You've been doing things.
Yeah, I have.
Tell us about them.
Okay. Yeah, I'm going first this week, y'all.
Yeah.
Y'all? Week? Fuck this podcast already.
No, it's fine.
So I had a great day today. I went to see Fate Stay Night, the movie Heaven's Feel 1 Presage Flower.
How was it?
I really, really liked it.
That's good. Good to hear.
Uh-huh.
They didn't fuck it up. Because they have a good track record, so...
They do. And I'm not going to go into any major spoilers because, one, you haven't seen Heaven's Feel or read Heaven's Feel or anything, and two,
Nope.
It is, like, for people that haven't read the visual novel, it, you know...
Because who the fuck
this is
wants
new.
to read those?
Yeah, I mean, that's fair. So yeah, not gonna go into super in-depth spoiler stuff, but I did have a couple of things I wanted to talk about, and I actually have, like, a dumb, like, document I made with, like, thoughts on all the things I'm talking about.
I want to say real quick, I have not seen this movie, and I wanted to see this movie. However, for some reason, all Wisconsin showings are in December?
Yeah!
And the closest one is a little ways away, and honestly, like, I know I'm gonna be busy that week, so I just can't see this in theaters. Which sucks, because, like, I was able to see Resurrection F at my local theater for some fucking reason, but I wasn't so lucky with this one. To be fair, there's a lot. I imagine this is showing at a lot less places, but...
Well, yeah, it's not Dragon Ball.
It's not Dragon Ball.
That being said, like, that is part of the story, too, I guess. So I was, like... They announced that they would be doing, like, a limited theater run in America for this, and I was, like, in the back of my mind...
right? Not dubbed?
It was subbed, yeah.
Okay.
But, like, in the back of my mind, I was like, man, it would be really cool to go see that, but I doubt I'll get a chance to. So then when they announced the theaters, it was like, hey, there is one theater in New Jersey that is showing it, and I looked it up, and it was only, like, 35 to 40 minutes away from me.
Nice.
So I hit up some friends and was like, hey, y'all want to go see Heaven's Feel? And they were like, yeah. So we bought our tickets and counted down the days, like, eagerly. And, yeah, it was a packed, sold-out theater for what it's worth. Which makes sense. It's the only one in the state that's playing it. But it was still cool to see that. The crowd was questionable at times, but it's fine. Yeah, a couple of goofy things, as you expect from Tight Moon fans. Let's be real here. I'm not gonna call out any individuals or anything, but there was some shouts during the theater that was a little cringy, and some people brought some items with them. And I don't mean, like, cosplay items. I mean, like, figures and stuff.
Why would you do that?
I don't know. Okay, you know what? This is a story to tell, sure.
Okay.
So there was... So I saw someone, as we were, like, getting our tickets to go into the theater, someone had with them a figure in a box. And I look at it, and in the back of my mind, I'm like, that's a little too far, man. Why'd you bring a figure? And then I go, wait a minute, I think I recognize that box. And, like, my heart started sinking, and I got, like, this sickly feeling washed over me. So I, like, walked in front of them and looked behind, and I was like, yeah, I have that figure. Fuck.
Nice. That's some good stuff.
That was pretty bad. Lewis asked if anyone dressed up as a Fate character. I did not see anyone dress up as a Fate character, but I definitely saw a lot of people with like Fate shirts and stuff.
Also, chat, let us know how the audio is going. I'm using a slightly different setup than normal, so
Yeah, definitely.
if one of us is too quiet, let us know. I was adjusting Zach a little bit while he was talking, so hopefully we're more equal than we started, but I don't know. Fuck it. We're live.
Yeah,
we don't
sometimes I'm loud and obnoxious. I apologize.
care.
Man, those Zelda episodes are pretty bad with that sometimes. I hear the audio cackling and I'm like, get away from the mic, idiot. But yeah, no, so that aside, and aside from some people, like, it was kind of funny whenever a popular character appeared on screen for the first time, everyone, like, started clapping and cheering, and I'm like, okay. But the movie was very good, and also way longer than I was expecting.
Oh, really?
It is a full 2 hours, and
Okay.
they really nailed the pacing of it, which I'm really happy to see.
Because you were worried it was going to be really slow, from what I remember talking to you
I was
about.
worried it was either going to be very slow or very rushed. And they pulled it off very well. Because the first half of the Heaven's Feel route is a very slow, like, a lot of tension building, a lot of mystery, a lot of, like, anxiety building in the background and character stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And that is maybe rough to do an entire movie of.
Yeah.
They pulled it off well. Like I said, I'm not going to get into super spoilers, but like I will say the first like 15 minutes of the movie is actually like it's like original scenes of stuff that was talked about but never shown before, and they like start building up the like Shiro Sakura, like they go into how they met and all their like how their relationship started, which was a really nice start to the movie, and then they threw in some action scenes here and there, but it was definitely more action heavy in the second half, which as a movie should be.
Mm-hmm.
There was only like 2 or 3 really standout action scenes, but they were like they came at the exact point in time where you needed them to come, you know?
Yeah.
It's a very character focused movie. I will say that if no one knows what Heaven's Feel is, this is a lot darker and more violent than Unlimited Blade Works, which we talked about Unlimited Blade Works in a previous episode. We talked about Fate Zero. It's kind of like closer to Fate Zero in terms of that, but also it's a movie, so it's way more violent. Like you see some
They can
really
get away
like
with more.
you see some real bloody, gruesome stuff sometimes. Only thing that was a little weird with that is sometimes there was some comedy thrown in here and there, and it was all funny, but sometimes a little off tone when surrounded by all the dark stuff. But yeah, I liked it a lot. I guess that's really all I can say until like you also see it, and we can do like spoiler stuff. But that'll probably be like sometime next year.
Yeah.
Only other thing I'll say is that like this is gonna be such a random comment for people that don't know anything about Heaven's Feel. But hey, they do some really cool stuff with shadows towards the end, and that gets me really excited for the next 2 movies, because like they do shadow stuff in a way that's really trippy at one point, and that's really fun to look out for. So that's that. I highly recommend it, and I'm very excited for the next movie, which will be the one that actually starts having all the really cool action stuff that I want to see, which they did announce will be next year. So they're not gonna make people wait more than 1 year for these movies, I think.
Yeah.
That's good. Yeah, that's it. I guess unless anyone has anything else, like if you have anything to say or if anyone has any questions about Fate, then we can move on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The chat adds a weird, like, I feel like some asshole that's on the stage right now.
Yeah. But
in contrast to just feeling like an asshole.
Yeah. Actually, you want to alternate with this one, because I feel like I'm going to be talking a lot at the beginning.
Oh, like alternate subjects?
Yeah.
I guess I can talk a little bit about a movie that I saw.
Yeah.
So, I recently saw Thor.
Yeah.
The Dark World.
Oh.
So, so, um, I always forget that movie because I think it's the worst Marvel movie. So I knew I was gonna say I knew I was gonna see Ragnarok this week. So I was like, it's like $4 to rent on Amazon. I think it was on sale this week. Let's just rewatch Thor: The Dark World for like the third time in my life. God, that movie is terrible. It's so bad.
It's not great.
It's really bad.
Okay, so I think we've talked about this before, but what's your opinion on Thor 1?
I think Thor 1 is alright. It's one of the weaker ones, but I think they do some cool, fun fish out of water stuff. Um, I think it's fine. I get if someone was like, I fucking hate it, I get it. But
So what if someone said I fucking love it?
I honestly, I could go either way with it. I just think it's
Because
like average.
Thor 1 is my favorite Marvel movie.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It's Thor 1 followed closely by The Avengers and then Winter Soldier.
Mm-hmm.
And those are kind of the only ones I really outstandingly like. All the other ones are just okay.
So, what I will say is that Thor Ragnarok, I have never seen a Marvel movie disrespect with such fun and authority the shit that came before.
Oh, okay.
I So I was curious going in because the dude directing this apparently said recently that he barely took into account the other, like, there's obviously the continuity stuff that like is overarching and studio mandated that he had to throw in there, but he's like, yeah, I didn't really look at Thor 1 or Thor 2 at all for this. And he said if they bring me back for a sequel, I don't want them to make me call it Thor 4 whatever. He wants to make Thor Ragnarok 2.
Okay.
Which is really interesting, but I can see why. So I saw The Dark World, and then the next day Amanda and I saw Ragnarok. That movie is completely... That Thor is a different character. He is more in line with, like, Thor 1 and Avengers Thor than he is with, like, Thor 2 Thor, who is a little more, like, serious... Like, The Dark World feels like it's trying to be a bad Lord of the Rings type thing at times, you know?
Yeah, for sure.
They brought it way back. So, what I didn't expect this movie to be... And I heard going in, some critics were like, oh, they went the Guardians of the Galaxy route with it. They didn't. Sure, they do some 80s throwback stuff, but not with the music. Like, literally, that Led Zeppelin song is the only thing they really have like that. And they use it wonderfully in the actual movie. This is a throwback to, like, 80s cartoons like Thundercats and shit.
Yeah, I totally could see that vibe from, like, the trailers and stuff.
It is there. I like. It's a lot of that. It's a lot of, like, there's a point where, like, what you could only describe as, like, Mad Max Wasteland scavengers come up, for a brief minute. It's a lot of, like, dumb pulpy 80s shit. A lot of dumb fantasy, like, heavy metal imagery. There is a few points where Amanda and I looked at each other and were like, "This is just Dark Souls." It was so fucking fun. Like, the opening sequence might as well be described as Dark Souls boss fight. It's so fucking funny. And
So, you say, like, it's really funny. The one negative I hear about this movie is people saying sometimes it's too funny.
I would say, so here's my thing. I don't care enough about Thor and Loki as characters to have that as a major problem. That being said, if you take those characters a little more seriously and to heart than I do, I could see why someone would be pissed about this movie. Because there is no, like, there are almost no sincere moments in this, like, movie that aren't immediately brought to their, like, extreme or made, like, the butt of a joke.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know how I feel about that. I kind of like the comedy to be balanced with some more serious moments and sincere moments.
Mm-hmm. I think I'm fine with it because it is... I feel like Guardians does that mix. Like, obviously, it's a lot more comedic. But this one just felt like a comedy through and through. But I don't know. It's really weird because I liked the comedy in this way more than I liked the comedy in either of the Guardians movies. one of my major complaints with Guardians 2 when I saw it earlier this year was every time that like a scene was about to end, I could call the joke.
Mm.
Now, in a lot of the jokes in this movie, I could be like, oh, they're gonna do this to get a laugh out of people. And a lot of times they would, but I would still laugh. Like, the execution was just better, I felt. And I think this movie actually sold me on Thor and Loki's relationship more than any of the other movies. Because there's kind of this weird, like... There's this weird sort of connection going on where they both have a lot of respect for each other, but they don't necessarily want to admit it, and they're both kind of trying to fuck each other over, and they both know that the relationship's probably never ever really gonna go back to how it was before. And they play around with, like, it alternates between, like, some heartfelt scenes that are then, like, brought down by them basically going back to being bickering children. And I liked that aspect of it a lot. The Hulk was pretty good. They actually... So I don't know if you know, the Hulk speaks in this movie now.
Yeah.
He's pretty good. There's a lot of, like... So part of why this movie exists is to be like, oh, this is what Hulk and Thor were doing during Civil War or whatever. I love how that movie is, like, super duper melodramatic and, like, you know, super serious in one of the darker Marvel films. And this one, Thor and Hulk just keep, like, giving, like, backhanded compliments to each other, trying to, like, convince one another who the stronger Avenger is. There's a really stupid joke at some point where Thor's like, I'm gonna build a team to win back my homeland. And someone's like, what's it called? And he just looks at the person and just goes, the Revengers. It's so stupid. Yeah, I
know. Fuck that movie.
It's so stupid.
Alright, I gotta watch that.
It's a lot of just really dumb humor, but, like... So here's my thing. I didn't feel like it was Joss Whedon humor. Like, I felt like this guy actually just wanted to make something dumb and goofy. And I kind of respect it for that. I don't think it's in my top Marvel movies, but I kind of dug it more than Guardians 2. I think I like Spider-Man more than this, though, because Spider-Man on its own was just a real good, like, teen comedy film.
I still haven't seen that.
I think that's one of the better ones, actually. It's definitely the best one from this year. Also, too, I think Spider-Man finally has a really damn good Marvel villain. It took them a while to get there, but they finally got one. So... but yeah, I liked it a lot. It's really weird because I feel like Marvel, at least for now, wants to kind of get everyone's trilogy in. And I feel like it's kind of a shame because I do think I'd like to see Thor Ragnarok too. But I mean, obviously we need to figure out what happens with the whole, like, next Avengers shit and all that, so.
Yeah, man, I'm just getting so fatigued with it all.
Hey,
but it sounds like
soon.
Ragnarok. Huh?
It's ending soon. We only have 4 or 5 more movies.
Oh, it's gonna keep going.
Well,
man.
I mean,
Come on.
It's gonna keep going, but this is the end of Arc 1 or whatever the fuck they call the things that the phases make up.
Yeah.
So, you know what's actually curious, and I want your opinion on this. So, I've kind of been at the point where it's like, yeah, I don't know how much my interest is gonna, like, be carried over after, like, the 4th Avengers movie where this storyline wraps up. You know that shit about Disney buying X-Men, though? Or Disney buying the rights... Or Disney buying Fox and then regaining the rights to X-Men and shit?
Yeah.
I think that could be a possibly interesting way to breathe new life into that universe. If that works out. But also, too, shit like Logan makes me hesitant, because it's like, oh, we're gonna lose some creative vision there with these.
I mean... He already said he doesn't want to do any more Wolverine movies, Hugh Jackman.
Yeah, not necessarily movies like... I just mean movies of that type. Or, like, if Disney buys Fox, and, like, say what you will about the movie, but we're never gonna see shit like Deadpool again. I don't think, you know, like...
Yeah, probably not.
Which, like, I kind of liked being able to have that variation where, like, not everything that was a Marvel movie necessarily had to fit into the MCU PG-13-ness, you know?
Man, I'll be honest, like, I don't, like... I don't think it's a good idea to have one company monopolizing all of the media, you know?
Yeah, and I've seen people be like, well, Marvel owns all the characters in the comics, and it's like, yeah, but like Marvel comic like there's a difference between like having a comic book company owning like all the different like teams that are working on these books, and also like multi-billion-dollar fucking movie company that's like, you have to make this movie. Like there is so much more money on the table, which restricts the creativity a lot, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But I actually do hope though that they carry on making some, like, I think Thor Ragnarok, you can tell they gave this guy, I keep forgetting his name, you can tell they gave him a little more creative wiggle room. Part of me wonders if that happened after the whole Ant-Man fiasco with Edgar Wright.
Yeah.
Which is a shame, because I would think I would have liked that movie a lot more than whatever the fuck I didn't care much for Ant-Man, honestly. I thought it was okay, but...
Yeah, I mean, I remember watching it and, like, not disliking it when I watched it, but, like, it didn't stay with me at all.
Yeah. I feel like that's the thing with so many, like, remember when I was talking about Doctor Strange, where it's like, it's fine, it's just another one of these, you know, like,
Yeah.
so many of them fall into that category. I do hope, though, that this is kind of maybe a sign that maybe they're starting to give people a little more wiggle room. Black Panther looks interesting, and it sounds like maybe they're giving that guy a little more space to do what he wants to, which seems cool. But we'll see.
Yeah.
I can't wait for Avengers 3 and 4 to just completely suck and, like, cause the worst, like, backlash of all time.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't like 2, so...
So the only thing is, at least Jossie Boy ain't working on 3 and 4.
I don't dislike Joss Whedon. That's the thing. Whatever.
I feel like a lot of
let me rephrase that. I don't dislike Joss Whedon's work.
Yeah, I was about to say. But I think a lot of 2's problems might be... I think they're half Jossie Joss, and I think the other half is Marvel.
We'll see.
I don't know why I'm 5 again. Let me grab my drinky winky. Because, like, okay, the thing with Age of Ultron is, like, I feel like you just you crammed too much shit into one movie, but then also, too, you have Black Widow being like, I can't be pregnant, so I'm a monster. And it's like, ooh, woof, Joss, please. There's some weird shit in there.
Yeah. Fate Grand Order is a mobile game.
that was from the chat, in case anyone listening to this.
It was from the chat from when I was talking about Heaven's Feel.
I like the chat dynamic for this. This is good. We need to do this more often.
Yeah.
All right, talk about Dot Hack. Jesus Christ.
Oh, fucking Dot Hack.
Ragnarok's good. Go see it.
Are y'all ready for this bullshit?
Yeah.
So Dot Hack GU Last Recode came out.
So you had to rewatch the prequel anime.
Well, so that's the thing, Rasen. I wasn't going to. I booted up GU1 Rebirth, and I went, yeah, this is what I remember, but man, like, that game starts more confusing than I remember, because it's like, oh man, this character, it like, you meet the main character, and then it skips 6 months ahead, and the main character is, like, trying to avenge someone that you don't know, and, like, you have no emotional connection to this person he clearly cares about. You don't know what happened. You don't know the person that he's talking to on this bridge. You don't know anything.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, this is a rougher start than I thought. And then one day...
It starts in the desert with him with that scythe fighting people, right?
After the time skip, yeah.
Okay.
It starts with him making his character getting PK'd.
Oh, yeah.
And then it skips, like,
Which
6
Roots
months later.
also covers, right?
That's the funny thing. Roots mostly skips over that.
Okay. God, this is so confusing.
You understand what happened in Roots. In Roots, it just cuts to him, like, on the ground and being like, I got PK'd. But yeah, so I'm sitting here like, man, I don't remember it starting off this bad. Like, it not bad in, like, not good, just bad in, like, you don't know who any of these people are, you don't know why you should care, and then you get introduced to all new characters. So one day I was like a couple hours into the game. I've been working a lot lately. Like work has really kicked up for me, and I was just kind of tired on my day off and didn't feel like playing a video game. And I went, "Fuck it, I'm just gonna rewatch all of Roots." I loved Dot Hack Roots. Like, you know, I mean, it was like 10 years ago now. You know, same with Fate, honestly. But Fate's a little bit later. But yeah, I loved Roots when it first aired. I watched it in Japanese. This time I watched the dub just because I was being lazy. You've seen Dot Hack Roots before, right?
Yeah.
What do you remember about Dot Hack Roots?
I remember many episodes that were very long-winded. I remember Haseo being angsty. I remember the ending, and I remember the cat girl.
So, Dot Hack Roots, a little rougher around the edges than I necessarily remembered.
I kind of figured.
There are so many characters that don't need to be in that show. And it's baffling because they keep introducing them. Like, halfway through that show, they just start introducing more characters that don't matter and don't do anything, but they focus on for entire episodes of them like, I'm going to follow Haseo. I'm going to be the character that follows Haseo. And look at like, oh man. It is very clearly a show that is like stalling for time constantly and just trying to throw in as much filler as possible.
Maybe it should have been 13 episodes and not 25 or 26 or whatever the fuck it is.
And if it had been 13 episodes, it would have actually probably been pretty good. But here's the thing. So there are parts of Roots that I still liked. And I do feel having a little bit of context for who characters like Shino and Ovan are makes going into GU a lot more tolerable. But I had a revelation while playing GU and trying to view it from the point of view of someone that never went through Roots. Because there was one part where the way a flashback in GU depicts something from Roots is completely different from how Roots did it. And I was like, oh, that's kind of weird, but whatever. And then I realized that that's how GU1 was written without Roots in mind.
Yeah.
And they actually meant for you to not know who any of those characters are. Because the revelation of what happened and how it happened is part of the hook. And the big moment towards the end where Ovan tells Adelie what went down is supposed to be when you figure out what went down. And that is a very interesting thing that I never realized. I don't think it works very well because it still has the problem of you have absolutely no connection to the main character's quest at all. But it's interesting. And it left me in a situation where I honestly, truly don't know whether it's better with or without Roots. I don't know. I feel like I'm too in there to really know.
Yeah.
But I feel like there's equal amounts of pros and cons to both.
I mean, I'll never know either, because, like, I watched Roots and I didn't realize there was a game to go along with it until my friend was like, hey, I bought this .X GU game, and then I watched him play through the three of them. Like, I want to say it was like a full year after I had watched Roots.
It's even worse, too, because, like, you said that Haseo was, like, angsty in Roots, but, like, he's insufferable in GU1.
Yeah.
And not, like, being angsty, just being a complete asshole. Like, the most snotty teenager you've ever seen. And, like, I feel like he's better in Roots. Like, because in Roots, he's just kind of moody and distant, and then gets, like, angsty towards the end. Man.
What episode of how many episodes does the scene you posted to Twitter happen at?
The scene I posted to Twitter, I want to say I think it's in 14.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Because episode 13 is when the big turning point happens. So I want to say what I posted to Twitter is probably 14.
He posted a clip of the dub of Haseo getting very moody at a waterfall.
It's certainly some grade A voice acting. And writing, let's be real.
Why did you betray us when we needed you most? Where are you?
Ooh, it's good. Yeah. So I don't know, man. I still feel like if you really, really want to like have a bit more context going into GU, try to watch Roots up until episode 13 and then stop. You do not need anything past 13 at all. Yeah. Someone asked who would win, Haseo or Kirito. The actual answer is probably Kirito, but Haseo is a way better character, so.
Nice. What about when Haseo goes into his Exith form?
So that's the thing about Haseo. Like, I say he starts off really bad. The entire point of the GU arc is supposed to be watching him as a person grow up and, like, evolve, and it's a much more shonen anime coming-of-age story, and I feel like by the end of the third game, he's a pretty good character.
Yeah.
And I like the resolution he reaches at the end of the third game, because, like, hey man, Shino's not so great of a person.
Can't wait for the fourth arc or fourth part that they added to fuck everything up.
Well, man, I'm really excited to see what the hell that is. Apparently, it's only like 2 or 3 hours long, but like I need to replay through the trilogy to get there.
Yeah.
Other than that, like I plan on talking. Like I don't know if I'm gonna do like a blog post or something. I don't know, but I plan on talking.
Video.
I might make another video about like last Recode when I finish it, but like just some like quick like GU only things. I'll say like it is more low budget than I remember, but the HD conversion's actually really nice. Like it looks good for like a PS2 mid-budget game, you know?
Mm-hmm.
The only thing that's pretty weird about it is that like I didn't remember that most of the dialogue in GU is just like the character models doing like it's the character models are there and it's voice acted, but the models are just kind of standing like blank face doing one of like 4 poses and like their mouths aren't moving and everything.
There are parts of that game that aren't voice acted though, right?
Most of it is voice acted, but some of it's not.
Okay.
Yeah, most of it's voice acted. But the thing is, man, so like I guess the big budget they wanted to spend on is whenever they wanted to have a line that was really important or really dramatic, they would cut to like better animated cutscenes. Like, you know how Final Fantasy X would do their big moments in better animation?
Yeah.
So imagine if instead of that, and they did it for like a single line of dialogue in the middle of a cutscene and then went back to the normal animation.
Mm-hmm.
So like it'll be like 3 characters standing around just like doing a couple poses as dialogue happens, and then it like someone will be like, but that's not how it really happened, but like that is fully animated, the lips are moving, they're doing a dramatic pose, the animation is 10 times better, and then the next line cuts back to like this static like character models standing around. Yeah, it's pretty weird, but you can very clearly tell that is a mid-budget. It's not low budget, it's a mid-budget PS2 RPG.
Yeah. I think I referenced this earlier. I actually want to get more into the IMOC stuff. Like, I know Sign and IMOC aren't really related, but like,
well, they are, but not
super connect. Like, it's not like Roots to GU. It's a lot less.
So not in terms of the characters, but in terms of the plot, yes.
Yeah.
So like the like without giving a whole lot away for anyone that would fucking care, but like the villain and like the stuff that they introduced in Sign is what IMOC carries on, you know? And like the story about Aura and stuff. So I would say Sign before IMOC is a pretty decent idea if Sign is the kind of show people would like, but Sign is very different, so.
Generation 1 .hack was a little before my time.
Yeah. I mean, I was pretty young for it, like
Yeah, so I'm curious because I've heard bits and pieces of it, and I know that they apparently haven't aged the greatest, but I do want to try them out, and I think I want to do that before I go into GU stuff again.
yeah, they really, really like just in terms of the IMOC games themselves, they have not aged well at all. In terms of the gameplay, in terms of the story stuff, I still like them a lot, but
Mhm.
they're rough.
If I can get through Rido, I can get through.
No.
Oh, oof, really?
Mm.
Really? That's not great.
See, here's the thing, man. Raito is one game.
Oh, that is true.
IMOC is 4 RPGs, and half of it is like filler grinding.
Yeah. That's a shame.
Yeah, but I'm really happy I played those games when I was a kid, and I really found them rewarding. So I'm not saying that they're not worth playing, just that it's rough.
Mm-hmm.
It is. There is a very clear reason why they remastered GU and not IMOC, because one of those would need a lot more work than the other.
Yeah.
That being said, GU Rebirth 1, I still really enjoyed it. I'm into the second game now, but a lot more of that game is like arena like arc thing that I wasn't really crazy about, but it's fine. That's it for my dot hack update.
Should we continue alternating or
Yeah, man. I mean, you can talk about like inferior platformers if you want.
okay, so let's talk about Sonic Forces.
No, fuck you.
Ha, got you. I didn't play Sonic Forces actually. Let's talk about Super Mario Odyssey. So,
Okay. We'll never talk about Sonic Forces.
I've played a little bit more Super Mario Odyssey. I'm about like I don't know if I want to say 3/4 yet, but like, 5/8, somewhere around there, I guess. Um, I think that Super Mario Odyssey is a fine game. I think in a few more months after the honeymoon phase is over, I think that this is gonna be knocked down a peg in the sense that I think that this is definitely going to be one of the games where people are going to argue, okay, do we like 64 Galaxy or this one the best? Because for a little while after it came out, people were like, this is easily the best one. But I also think that that game's problems, that when they do pop up, become more apparent the more you spend time with it. And also, some things are just different that aren't, like, they're not bad, they're just different in a way that it's just a personal preference thing. One thing that actually really took some, like, mental adjustment is, so, like, you know how, like, in 64, you need so many power stars before you can open up the, like, red doors to different parts of the mansion, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so imagine that, but, like, in Odyssey, every time you get to a new world, you need to get about 20 moons or whatever, and then you can move on to the next world. The problem is there are so many moons that is like maybe 20 to 30, maybe 40 minutes of gameplay, and then you're along to the next area. It's really weird because I think that the main story of this Mario game, or like, I don't even want to say story, but like, you know what I mean? Like, the main quest of this Mario game is taking you through a tour of all of the different worlds.
Mm.
And then you can go back and get all of the shit.
Yeah.
It's really weird, and, like, it's not what I was expecting. I think it's pretty neat, but also, too, it's like, hey, if you spend this much time in this desert planet getting all 69 power moons, you're gonna burn yourself out. You need, like, you're gonna want to move on eventually, sort of thing. So it feels like you're getting, like, an appetizer, like a little, like, palate cleanser, like, of each different area, and then you can go back and explore more and do all the different side stuff. And I'm not sure how I feel about that. I like it. I'm still having a lot of fun. I'm really struggling with whether or not I think this game needed to have 900, allegedly, and I think there's even more than that of these moons. Because some of them just come down to, and I'm sorry, but, like, it's literally, hey, ground pound this part of the world. and I feel like I feel like part of that is just there to give like kids and maybe people that are not as good at platforming a way to progress throughout the game and actually beat the game. But also too, from what I know, you don't unlock shit later, because you know how like Mario games they do this stuff where like the more hard or like challenging areas are locked away after you beat the game and after getting enough collectibles. So I'm a little conflicted because I want to get these moons so I can unlock that shit, but also a lot of those moons aren't necessarily always the most fun. They're just a little time-consuming. Part of me almost wishes that maybe there were half the amounts of moons and there was just a little bit more thought or, like, more effort required to get them, because you are, like, tripping over moons when you explore these worlds, and it starts to lose its joy after a little bit, I feel.
Yeah, I definitely, like, I haven't played it more than that demo still, but what you're saying sounds like, yeah, I'd rather there be less and have each one feel special.
There's a Twitter account going around that's just like got a power moon for doing like minute life thing, and it's so funny because it's so fucking true. Because like some of them might as well be like, oh, you walked through this bush, you just found, like some of them are really, really like, oh, you don't need to try for this at all. That being said, it's still really fun. Some of the hat powers are hit or miss, but they're mostly hit, so that's good. Some of the worlds are actually smaller, or like there's actually a lot of like size variation throughout the worlds. Like it doesn't feel like there's one uniform size or layout to the worlds, which is really great. Because there's a few that are a little tinier than others. I do think that this is the best boss fighting we've had in Mario, because Mario tends to be...
Yeah, even the 2D ones, the bosses are very, like,
they kind of feel like they're an obligation sometimes.
Except for the last bosses are usually okay, especially in Mario World.
Yeah. So, I'm enjoying it. I've been saying this a little bit on Twitter. I feel like this is definitely the Breath of the Wild of Mario. I think it gets away with it a little bit less than Zelda did.
Oh, fuck you.
I know. But, like, honestly, like, and this is actually one of the thoughts I've been having. I'm curious to see what Metroid Prime 4 looks like.
I mean, do we know if that's being developed in-house by Nintendo or not?
Not yet.
Because it seems to be what a lot of people are assuming, since they didn't say that it was retro.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm really wondering, because it feels like this is going to be their thing for a while now. And hey, I like Mario Odyssey and Zelda a lot, but also too, I wouldn't mind like a new Super Mario Brothers Switch or something a little more traditional from them coming out soon too,
Yeah, I mean, I feel like they felt that they wanted to have a big 3D Mario,
Yeah, and honestly, hey, this is good. So,
because honestly, I think a lot of it too is they kicked off the Wii U with a lot of safe choices. And I feel like they wanted to do the opposite for the Switch.
Like,
and
even 3D World is, like, just 3D Land, but bigger,
Yeah, but even then, if they had started with 3D World instead of new Super Mario's U, it would have been a lot better.
Yeah. I still need to play that. I've heard really good things about...
About what?
New Super Mario Brothers U.
Oh, really? Because it's pretty generic.
Oh.
It's the same thing as all the other new games.
Yeah, I like them, though. Well, I didn't like 2 from what I played of it, but, like, I liked Wii and the first one a lot, more than I think most people do.
I mean, then you'll like this the exact same amount.
Yeah, and, it's been long enough for me to go in for another one of those, I've had a long enough break, so...
I didn't hate it. I enjoyed my time with it, but it's one of those things where I finished it and I was like, I wonder if I would have gotten more enjoyment out of just replaying Worlds,
Yeah.
I've been
doing that a little bit because I just have the SNES Classic still hooked up.
Yeah,
that's a good video game. I still prefer 3.
Best. No, I like World the best.
Oh, that's fine. I still prefer 3, but like World is good. World is very good.
Yeah, that, like I've said before, I'm not the world's biggest Mario fan anyway, so I like them, but
Yeah, you're more of a Sonic boy.
Yeah, And I mean, you know, I have to talk about Sonic because in the chat, Ninto, like, demanded it.
Yeah, demanded. He said, I will unsubscribe if you
don't
talk about Sonic. Specifically the Forces/Mania connection. So that's the thing. How accurate were your investigative leaks from last episode? Because from what I can see, they seem mostly true.
Rasen?
Yeah?
I have a full page
Oh.
of documentation to talk about for Sonic Forces.
Oh.
This is the most in-depth and serious.
Sweaty.
This is the most serious, in-depth moment that WAFP will ever have.
Okay.
And everyone in the chat and everyone watching at home on YouTube, because fuck what I just said, I am sorry, but yes, there will be full Sonic Forces spoilers in this podcast from here on out.
Okay, go ahead.
So,
I'm gonna cover myself up with the blanket before we get a little...
You get ready. Ready. Okay. So in the previous episode of We Are Finally Podcast, I reported on Sonic Forces leaks, and I said that all of the villains are illusions created by the Phantom Ruby, including Infinite. There is a reason. There is a very, very singular reason why the leaks said that. And it is because Infinite's backstory is included in the Day 1 Episode Shadow free DLC. Yes. So.
What a weird place to throw it in.
Well, Rasen, I think there's a reason for that.
Oh, dear.
So let's talk a little bit about Sonic Forces, shall we?
Okay. They're torturing Sonic.
Okay. I'm gonna get some things out of the way up front. If you've never joined us on here before, I like Sonic the Hedgehog. I'm not one of the weird fans, but I am a fan.
Have we ever told them about, like, the 4 a.m. argument that, like, our collective group of friends had?
I think we might have referenced it. I'm not sure.
There was just a period where, like, the too long didn't read is that there were 9 people in a Skype call arguing about Sonic level design. It was real bad. Anyways.
Specifically Sonic level design and Sonic versus Mario.
Yeah.
And I said my infamous line of, man, Sonic Adventure is so much better than Mario 64.
Oh, God, kill me.
Anyway, whew, getting a little sweaty here.
Yeah.
I like Sonic Colors and I like Sonic Generations a lot. Both of those games I think are a very fun way to do modern Sonic that is way better than any other modern Sonic attempt before. I think 3D Sonic can work, but it's gonna be very different. And I really like the way that the Colors Generations Boost formula blends 2D platforming with 3D, basically roller coaster action. And Sonic Forces does that. And I will say that I enjoyed my time with Sonic Forces. Before any of the stuff I get into, I will say that I don't think it's as bad as some other people think. I'm not going to say I don't understand why some people think it's really bad. But we're not dealing with Sonic Boom. We're not dealing with Sonic 06. I think Sonic has had a lot of really bad games that, like, Sonic Forces is a okay game. It's a solid 7 out of 10, you know? That's my overall view on Sonic Forces.
Okay.
This game is unfinished.
Oof. How does this keep happening?
So you've said that, Rob. You said that we were talking about this.
Yes.
And here's the thing. It is unfinished in a way that is completely different from any other Sonic game. So you look at something like Sonic 06 and Sonic Boom, and those games are very clearly unfinished, but it's the full game. It's just buggy and unpolished.
Yeah.
This game is not buggy, and it's not unpolished. It just feels like half a game. So you know how they introduce the villains by being like, all right, here are the Sonic's rogue galleries, here are your boss fights gonna be. We got Chaos, Shadow, we got Metal Sonic, Zavok, and Infinite. You never fight Chaos or Shadow.
What?
You just never fight them. They never are fought. And it feels like they should have been. They just never got around to finishing bosses.
I was actually curious what the fuck they were gonna do with Chaos.
They just didn't get around to it.
Nice.
Rasen, the levels are fun. They're all about a minute and a half long. Just when it gets going, it's over. And I enjoyed, like, Sonic games you're meant to replay the levels. And to be fair, this game has 30 levels, so it's about the same volume of content. But the fact that they all feel like unfinished half levels hurts it a lot.
Yeah.
Because you start getting in the groove and it's back to the main menu, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a bummer. Like, honestly, I would have really preferred, even if they still didn't finish it, I would have rather them just combined all the levels and have 15 levels that are twice as long. You know?
Yeah.
So, let's talk about Infinite. Let's talk about the story, Rasen.
Okay.
The story is the biggest disappointment. And I say that because
you had expectations.
Here's the thing. Yes.
Why?
And I think everyone else did too. So hear me out on this. Yes, they did, Rasen. Everyone's expectation was for this to be one of the really dumb ones.
Okay, yes, okay.
The expectation was like, we're gonna get Shadow the Hedgehog again.
Yeah.
We're gonna get Sonic 06 again.
Yeah.
And this weird thing happened where people were excited for it.
Yeah.
That's not what this is. This is the same thing as all the previous modern Sonic games. Like, they throw in a couple of lines that are like the ones you see on Twitter of like, nothing's good about this vector, that's why it's called war. And they'll casually mention that, like, Sonic has been tortured. But then when you see Sonic, he's just the same, like, oh man, this is boring, I'm out of here. You know? Like, the tone is so inconsistent, and then just nothing happens with the story. And it's like, it's just kind of boring kids' cartoon stuff again. And, like, that's probably better for the game, but man, I really wanted it to be dumber than it is. Like, anyway. Yeah, no, don't worry, guys. I'm not going to dwell on it for all that much longer. But I did want to come back to the Infinite thing.
Yes.
Oh, before that, I will say, the Avatar stuff is actually fine. I had fun making intentionally bad OCs that I posted to Twitter.
Mm-hmm.
And I think out of all the characters, really enjoy the Avatar's gameplay the most. Modern Sonic is the same as he was in Colors, just with slightly less good level design. Classic Sonic is the same as he is in Generations, and it's an embarrassment that he's here when Mania came out this year, you know?
Yeah.
A boy with Sonic Team Up staged, you know?
Yeah.
But the Avatar... So a lot of people's complaints with Modern Sonic in the Boost games is that, like, it's fine, but the fact that you can hit square to just... They call it boost to win, you know?
Mm-hmm.
The Avatar plays just like Modern Sonic, only he can't boost and has, like, a little weapon instead. And I think it actually slows down the Modern Sonic gameplay enough to feel pretty fun. I liked it. Anyway, Infinite. You ready for Infinite's backstory?
Yeah.
Let's go.
Okay.
So Infinite is a mercenary.
Okay.
That is hired by Eggman to defend a base in the forest. And he's defending that base until Shadow shows up.
Mm-hmm.
and beats him in like 2 hits.
Mm-hmm.
And then Shadow says, "You're pathetic and weak. Never show your face again." Or like, "Never show your face to me again," or something like that. So Infinite starts having like a hissy fit going, "I'm not weak, I'm not weak." And then goes, "That's the day that I put on the mask and gained the power to become infinite."
Oh.
Yeah.
So is he just like a normal like hedgehog thing before and then gained
Yeah.
superpowers?
Yeah, that's all you get. They don't tell you.
Okay.
He was a mercenary. He was defeated by Shadow. And then something happened and he got the Phantom Ruby's power.
Nice.
The implication is, I guess, Eggman created the Phantom Ruby and put it on Infinite, but you never see that.
This Nintendo post, I'm not weak, I'm not weak. Infinite continues to insist as he transforms into a corn cob.
That's solid. Yeah. One of those things, really, really don't think that they finished this game.
That's a shame?
Because the thing is, they never show Infinite's face in that Shadow flashback, as if they're going to have a big reveal later, but you just never see it in the main game either.
Oh. Now, do you think there'll be more DLC?
I think there might have been before the game came out, but that's... I think they're probably going to want to write this off.
Okay.
So there are 3 boss fights with Infinite. And the first 2 are really good. Infinite has a really interesting mechanic that it's actually like something that I've seen before, but so Infinite's ability is that he can create like illusions and make them real for the person that sees them.
Mm-hmm.
So he has this dumb, like, maybe you've seen it in like trailers or gameplay footage, but he's got like this red square thing where it's like a bunch of red squares.
Yeah.
So during his boss fights, he throws that out at you. And if you get hit by it, it doesn't hurt you. Or like, it might hurt you, but that's not the main thing. When you get hit by it, you get hit by the illusions. And it changes the boss fight to be harder. So if you get hit by that attack, suddenly for like 10 seconds, there'll be like spikes covering the ground or guns shooting at you or something.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's an interesting mechanic, and I was really excited to see what they did with it as it went on. And there's like one stage where Infinite like is in the stage with you, messing with you, but then it never actually does anything. It just like makes you flip upside down once. And then you get to the 3rd Infinite boss fight, and it's a reskin of the Metal Sonic fight. Down to like the same exact attacks, and it's like, oh, you didn't finish it. And then you fight like the final boss against Eggman, and it's like a reskin of like a Sonic Colors boss, and it's like, oh.
Oof.
Okay.
When your final boss is a reused thing from a previous... Ooh, that's...
So, that's it. As for the Mania connection, yeah, Mania is still an illusion. Classic Sonic just kind of disappears. I don't know if, he's not an illusion. I guess he goes back to his world. He's now from an alternate dimension instead of being the past. And also, when you defeat Infinite, he just disappears. And then they imply that there are a bunch of Illusion Infinites later, so I don't know.
Classic Sonic doesn't talk, right?
No, he doesn't.
Do they acknowledge that in the fiction?
Yes.
Nice.
But they don't acknowledge that the Avatar doesn't talk, because they do the Lassie thing of, like, Knuckles will be talking to the Avatar will nod his head, and Knuckles go, "What? You've got to go!"
Now, is Classic Sonic a being that exists in, like, is Classic Sonic just Sonic from 10 years ago? Or is, like...
So he was in Generations. But in this one, they just say, oh, it's that Sonic from an alternate dimension.
So there's now a Sonic split timeline?
Yes.
Okay. Good.
Yes.
That's good. That's real good. So
that's why Sonic Forces update that I promised last week.
Maybe
Did you all like it?
I liked it. Maybe I'll pick it up when it's $3.
Don't.
Oh. Oof.
How'd you feel about colors?
Um, I didn't care for it, honestly.
Then you will hate this.
Okay. Yeah.
It is less good colors.
Okay. I like it. God, 10 years ago I would have eaten this shit up. Yeah, like
That's the thing. Like it's not. I don't think you would have because it doesn't feel good. It just like it's just confusing and unfinished, and nothing adds up.
So to be fair, I have seen some out. Like, I don't want to say outcry, but I have seen some things being written by people that are like, "Hey, I bought this for my kid," and they're like eating it up. Sort like they love it, and like they love making their own little Sonic and stuff. Like,
Yeah,
I think maybe that's also the thing too, where like, hey, when I was younger, it took me a little bit of playing Heroes to be like, wait, this is bad actually. Like, like
man, I still liked Heroes as a kid.
yeah, like I think kids are a little like kids probably don't even realize the levels are that short compared to other. You know what I mean? Like they don't have that sense yet. They just are taken in by the characters and
Yeah, sure.
everything. So
Yeah, and like I said, there are parts of this game I really did enjoy. It's got that same spectacle.
yeah.
It's fun. But like, if this had been $60, I would have felt really ripped off.
There's Gamma in it. Or Omega.
Omega's in it, yeah.
Hell yeah. Shout out.
They're all in there. I think pretty much everyone but Blaze makes it in, to be honest.
Rouge, Cream.
Oh, one thing I will say about playing this game. So like, I mean, fuck this. Like, even when I thought it would be cringy and bad, like, fuck the actual idea of having a Sonic story like this.
Big, Froggy.
Big's not in. So there's an option in the main
game. Anyways,
there's an option in the options menu to turn off the radio chatter. Do yourself a favor if you ever play Sonic Forces and make sure you turn off the radio chatter, because boy, is it way better playing this game without all of the Sonic friends talking every 5 seconds.
But then you miss out on the exposition and world building.
Yeah, you miss out on such great lines like, man, Green Hill's looking a lot more like Sand Hill right about now.
No, that's great.
Yeah.
The idea of Green Hill Zone becoming part, like, a battleground. It's so... Like, just imagining, like, mortar shells destroying the loop-de-loop,
That's something else I forgot to talk about. Sorry, one more bit to the Sonic Forces segment of the podcast. So like I said, there are 30 levels, but like there's only like a small handful of locations. Mm-hmm. You get like 5 or 6 Green Hill levels. Do you know what the zones are?
No.
So you get about 5 or 6 Green Hill. You get about 4 Chemical Plant. You get a couple of Death Eggs. You get a couple of Ruined Cityscape, and that's about it.
Nice.
Yep. There's like nothing original in terms of levels.
It's good.
It's all old shit or just like generic cityscapes. Really glad Sonic Mania came out this year.
Yeah. So let's
where do we go from here?
We can do we want to flip a coin?
What?
Do we want to flip a coin? Because there are 2 options ahead of us.
Oh, no. We'll just do yours.
Okay. So I've been playing a indie game by the name of Heat Signature. I found this game through Take a Shot, Waypoint Podcast. Before it came out, Austin Walker was playing it for... I'm not sure if it was for review or preview. Probably preview. And said good things about it. And the way he described it, it sounded extremely my shit. I added it to my wish list, kind of forgot about it. It came out, Giant Bomb did a quick look on it. I normally don't watch Giant Bomb stuff, I kind of just listen to their podcasts. I'm kind of half and half on their video stuff. And I picked it up, and I was like... I watched the video, and I was like, oh yeah, this really does look like my shit. So I bought it, and then I played about an hour of it. And I was like, this is neat. But then I got busy. Two Best Friends Play did a video on it, and it's like, yeah, I should get back around to that. So through all of these combinations of the different influencers that I watch, I finally gave Heat Signature a go. I think I've put in about 20 hours as of this podcast. That really snuck its way into my Game of the Year list. I like it a lot. Basically what it is it's Hotline Miami, but with a inventory system and super hot slowdown, where you hijack or steal shit or kill people within FTL style spaceships. So this game has a very simple gameplay loop. You get one of four characters, so you don't generate any characters, which is interesting. You are given four pre-named like characters that are have every character basically has a first and last name that's randomly generated, and they're pretty good. The first character that I quote unquote like beat the game with was called Revelation Hightower. Big fan of this game's random character name generator. So the core gameplay loop is you select your character and you start out with a personal mission that character needs to do. Basically every character has a personal mission that you need to complete, and it varies from I need to like steal this important like government thing and then sell it on the black market for getting my family out of debt, or it could be like I need to rescue a family member or like significant other who got kidnapped or is being held hostage by one of the factions in the world, or I need to assassinate this guy who killed my wife, or like there's so many different reasonings and like different mission objectives that you need to do. But before that, you need to basically you need to pay to find out where the ship is, where your personal objective is. So you need to take these odd jobs for this rebel faction that's kind of spawned within the galaxy. And the galaxy is randomly generated too, I should say, by the way. Though you never really go to planets, it's just different space stations that are controlled by 4 different factions. And I think the factions are a constant. Like, there's always, like, the Foundry, which, like, are, like, really, like, heavy, like, industrial, off-world security, which are basically it's basically this government of like space cops, and they're all at war with each other, and they're all terrible people. So this rebellion starts up to be like, hey, fuck these guys, let's start taking over their shit and making like just let's take over the galaxy and start something better. Let's unify the galaxy. So you take odd jobs that can just be like, go kill everyone on this ship, go steal a thing from this ship. And it's actually kind of fun because you're given this shitty little pod that you basically need to ram into other people's ships and then break in. Like, you know the start of episode 4? You basically need to do that. Where
Like
you
Star
like...
Wars?
Yeah.
Okay.
Where, like, you have, like, the little pod that, like, latches onto the enemy ship, and then you blow a hole through it. Well, you don't really blow a hole, because, like, you basically just attach onto their airlock, and then you break in that way.
Episode 4.
Yeah.
Airlock.
Well, like, you know at the start of A New Hope, where the Empire breaks in through the door?
Okay.
From the pod? It's like that.
So, I'll be honest, you said that, and, like, for some reason, my brain started thinking of the Phantom Menace, and I'm like, wait, the
yes,
part with, like, the gas?
The Phantom Menace.
Listen, man, I'm still thinking about Sonic, I'm sorry.
Yeah. And this all sounds a lot more complex than it actually ends up being. The basic gist of it is you're doing wacky space hijinks, and it's loot-based. Different ships will give you different, different ships have different, like, rooms that have, like, little chests that contain different items that you can use to make your life easier. All of the ships run on the Metal Gear Solid-style keycard level system. Though, like, I think in Metal Gear, though, like, if you have a level 5 keycard, it can only open a level 5 door. Like,
you mean the Metal Gear 1?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, but in this game, they're tiered. So if you steal a level 5 keycard, you're good for level 4, 3, 2, and 1 as well.
That's a much better way of handling than hold on, let me try all 8 of my key cards on this door and see which
Yeah.
one works.
And also, they do a very convenient thing that I think this is how it works, but I couldn't be sure. But I think that if something happens where you end up getting fucked, the doors will just unlock automatically. Like, if there is no possible way for where you are located to get a level 3 card, the game will just be like, let's just save you the hassle. Which is nice.
Yeah.
But it's very interesting. It has a very dynamic difficulty system in the sense that, like, the basic missions that you take are very easy, but they don't pay very well. And you can just work your way up to paying off who you need to pay off to get to your personal revenge mission that way. Or you can do the thing where someone's like, hey, I need you to assassinate this one guy, but make sure that literally no one sees you and that no alarms are pulled. Or I need you to rescue this person who is on a ship that is currently being bombarded by another ship. So you're teleporting or, like, moving throughout the ship, and, like, you're about to enter a room, and then a mortar shell hits that room, and the room is just hard space now, and you're like, well, guess I gotta find another way around. It's a lot of fun. The different random loot that you get is really great. And also, too, your home base has different shops, and there's actually a shop that literally has a loot crate. It's basically called, like, overpriced loot crate or something like that. And it varies in price, and it will always give you a random item, and that's how you get the better shit in the game, is you have to buy them through that crate. I managed to get a grenade launcher that shoots out 5 grenades that as soon as they touch something blow up, but they don't kill people, they stun them. So that character's game plan immediately became, I'm going to take a shit ton of pacifist missions and just blow up, stun everyone on the ship, and then do what I need to do. It's a blast. I like it a lot. The endgame gets pretty ridiculous. Where when you finally do get to your personal mission, like, almost everyone has armor or shields, and you really need to MacGyver some solutions or you're just going to die. One thing I do really like, though, is it has a very passive multiplayer system where I start up that game and sometimes I get a character that I can play as, and their personal mission is to rescue my Steam friend's captured player character, which is really cool. Also, basically, if you have a character that completes their personal mission, you're allowed to play through. But in a meta sense, that character's kind of done because once your character becomes, like, a legend in the eyes of those who live on the battlefield, I was saying something different.
Fuck you.
I was saying something different, but then, like, it came to me, I could do the MGS5 meme. No, once your character completes so many missions, because, once again, you're doing a personal mission, but you're also helping out this rebellion to conquer the galaxy. Your character's actual progress to help out with that structure is diminished, because the game doesn't want you to stick with one character. It wants you to constantly be re-rolling and taking on different characters and solving their personal missions.
Mm-hmm.
So you just retire that character, and one thing that they let you do is they say, hey, select one of the items that this character owned, and then it'll be called, like, Revelation Hightower's, like, grenade launcher. And that item becomes a random drop that is seeded throughout the world. So you can find your previous character's shit on, like, a random ship somewhere and be like, oh, this is the really cool thing I had last time. And your Steam friends can find it, and also you can find your Steam friends' really cool shit. Like, one of my Steam friends had a character who had a, like... And also, that's the other thing. So there's, like, different types of teleporters that, like, there aren't really true teleporters from what I can tell. Like, there's one that's called a visitor, and what it does is it lets you teleport to a place for 3 seconds, and then you go back to your original location. But that's really good for, like, say you need to assassinate a guy who's surrounded by guards. You can teleport in, shoot him, and then you'll poof back to the other room that you were in, and then you can run away. But one of my Steam friends had one of those that was self-charging. And basically what that means is that, like, I could use it, and then 3 seconds later I would go back to where I was, but then in 5 seconds I could use it again. So I could constantly just be doing these temporary little tiny things from one location. It was really weird. It's really great. Yeah, look up Heat Signature. There's some people in the chat interested. Yeah, it's definitely an indie game. It's by the people that made Gunpoint, if you've ever heard of that, which is another, like, um game that's very heavy on, like, improv and, like, quick thinking strategy type stuff. Um
It's a shame because like a lot of what you're saying sounds really cool to me, but it's that first thing you said, which is like the base of it plays like Hotline Miami, that like I completely lost all interest because I didn't like Hotline Miami.
so what I'm curious about is what didn't you like about it? Because it's
The gameplay.
okay. So it's not fast paced. Like I think it's safer to say it controls, like, it has Hotline Miami's control structure.
Mm.
But if you hit spacebar, you pause time, and if you, more importantly, I think, you hit spacebar and you start to move, and everything moves in slow motion. And also, you have gadgets and shit, which will lead to things like, oh, you can lay down mines that will, like, teleport people to a place you instruct. And immediately, the first thing I tried is I laid down one of those mines around a corner where some guy was about to turn, and then I selected the place I want to teleport him as is outside of the spaceship I was in. And he, sure enough, teleported into outer space.
Nice.
Yeah, it's really fun. I like it a lot. It's definitely going to be in my top 5, I even want to say. I really
Wow.
like it. Yeah.
Yeah, you've been playing it pretty often.
I have been. Also, too, there's one thing I really dig where, after you take over enough space stations owned by a faction, whatever character you're playing as gets the opportunity to, like, be the one to kind of bring it in. And I think if you retire that character, it takes your other characters a little bit to be able to get the opportunity. But you basically eliminate factions by hijacking one of their warships and then getting into the pilot seat and then mapping the controls so that it's going to crash land into the enemy base. And then you get a message that's like, hey, you can stay on the ship if you don't mind losing this character, or we suggest you find a window to just jump out of in 10 seconds. Like, you will run into the ship and you will go down with the ship if you stay here too long. And that's another thing. So you have a pod that you can remote control. It's the one that, like, I mean, you fly it to crash into other ships so that you can do what you need to do, and then you can go back to it and jump out. Or what you can do is you can shoot out a window and then have your character be stuck, stranded in space, and have 30 seconds of oxygen, and then remote control your pod to come and pick you up. It's a lot of cool shit. Oh, also too, you unlock these different side missions that are basically like this is a weird pull, but like they're kind of like the Mario Sunshine like bonus missions, where you're given a character that's different than yours. It has a predetermined loadout, and it's like, do this really batshit insane thing. I didn't touch too many of those because, frankly, I think the rewards are a little too much. Like, you get a lot of good shit for completing those. So I kind of wanted to just play with, like, the normal balance structure. But they're really fun. Like, one of them that I did was, okay, your character is stranded in space. Use your shotgun to gain momentum and then, like, go through this airlock and then hijack this ship before you run out of oxygen. It's really cool. I like it a lot.
Nice. That definitely sounds like something a lot of people will have a lot of fun with.
Yeah. I recommend it. It's $15. I think it's worth it for that, but also too, like, you know, Steam sales.
Yeah.
Also, like, there's a few times it glitched out on me. Specifically, I noticed a few times where, like, so what one thing is, like, there are certain mission types where if someone spots you and sounds an alarm, the ship will start flying back to a base, and there will be a countdown on the top of the screen. And if your character is still on the ship when that countdown reaches 0, your character gets captured. There were a few times where an alarm got pulled, and then it said, you have 50 seconds, and then it didn't count down. Like, I was still going to be captured in 50 seconds, but for whatever reason, the timer froze, and that sucked. So that was rough. But other than that, great game.
But does it have infinite Steam in it?
No.
Oh.
It does not. So.
VR.
Oh, I was going to talk. I thought we were going to talk.
No. Next two, and then we'll go to. See, man, we need to be poetic. We started with Heaven's Feel. We need to end with Melty Blood.
Okay. So VR. Zach, I have a very grown-up problem with VR that I've determined.
Tell me your grown-up problem in this podcast where we talk about Sonic the Hedgehog and Thor.
Oof, that's a rough one. Oof, that one hit me in a place. Fuck. So, I don't want that many wires out on my floor at all times.
Fair enough.
Which leads me to putting the VR back in its box in my closet, and then I'll go, I just got home from work. I want to play video game. VR would be cool. I have to take it out of the box, and then I have to clean up after myself like an adult.
Yeah.
So, I was thinking about this, like, I'm going to talk about that on the podcast, because that's a good part of the VR experience to capture, and I don't have much else to talk about. That's what I thought. Zach, I think that when I was drunk a few nights ago, I accidentally pre-ordered Skyrim VR. So you didn't see that tweet where I talked about this.
No! Okay. No, I did not see that tweet. I've been pretty busy.
To be fair, it was only from a few hours ago. You might have been actually seeing Heaven's Feel while this was happening.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I turned on my PS4 to play what I'm about to talk about, and because I was in the S category of my purchase tab, I saw that Skyrim VR was there. And I went, that's not right. So I looked at the PlayStation Store, and it said, you have pre-ordered this product, and it will become available when it's officially, yada yada. And I went, huh.
Do you know when this happened?
I have a feeling I know. I think it was last weekend. But
can you check your bank statement or
I was gonna do that, but I don't know when else it would have been.
Okay.
So
all right.
So I'll probably pop that in at some point and see what's happening.
I mean, I guess you might as fucking well.
Yeah. So
all right, Skyrim's back, everyone.
I don't even like Skyrim.
I
know. So, the other thing I was going to talk about. So everyone, little behind the scenes on the Resident Evil 7 situation. So everyone,
I mean, no one watched it anyway, but
yeah, it's fine. But for the people that did, we still want to stream Resident Evil 7 in VR. Just been poking around and doing stuff. I think my capture card is the reason that those first two streams where we did Kitchen in the beginning hour have some weird audio issues. So I was originally going to buy the Gundam Wing special fancy-ass Blu-ray collection. I think I'm just going to use that money to get a new capture card. I've kind of wanted one for a little bit anyways now. What really sucks though is so I have the Avermedia Live Gamer Portable, which fuck the name, but it works. Also, it has a really nice feature where you don't even need to have it plugged into a PC like most capture cards, and you can just record straight to an SD card, which is really nice. It doesn't work great with OBS, which is part of the reason every time I want to stream something, I'm usually 10 minutes late, because I almost always run into variations of a different problem. because to work with OBS, you need to have this like stream engine software that they have running in the background, and it's a pain in the ass. It fucking hates you if you use Skype or Google Chrome. It's just a mess. So I've kind of wanted a new one for a while now anyways. Only problem being that the new one is HDMI only and does not have component cable support. So I need to keep my old one anyways for like PS2 and Wii shit, which is a little annoying, but whatever, I can live with it.
Yeah, I mean, we gotta do Drakengard 2 at some point.
Yeah, exactly, actually. I was thinking about that. I feel like there's composite to... I feel like if I look around, there's component to like HDMI converter things where I can do it anyways, but like, whatever. Worked fine for Drakengard 1, and it'll work fine for 2. So, but yeah, I think that Resident Evil 7 will be fun when we get around to it.
Yeah, it's not going to be immediate anymore. It was going to be immediate, but...
It was going to be immediate, but then, like, I want that to be not having those audio issues, because they're pretty bad in those first 2 episodes, so...
That's fine. That just means that we can get to the real important stuff sooner, like Croc 2.
And Legend of Dragoon.
Sure.
That'll be a bit, but... Also, too, actually, like... I think I want to stream Nocturne again.
Oh, yeah, that's... Yeah, dude, what the fuck? You just said that live now.
Oh, no, I've tweeted about it already.
Yeah,
so.
but now it's not only live, but also on a podcast, so you actually have to do it.
Yeah, I mean, I was thinking I would have. So, here's the thing. A English translation patch came out for the Rido version of Nocturne out of fucking nowhere. Like, it was just kinda out one day. So I want to play through Nocturne, on stream and see what the Rido shit is about. I'm not gonna lie, I'm gonna miss Dante. Kinda wish there was a version of the game where there was both Dante and Rido.
So, man, like, is it weird that I think Rido is cooler than Dante?
I think it depends on your sensibilities.
Okay. Like, hey, man, I think Dante's pretty fucking cool, but, like, I think Rido's cooler.
Here's my thing. I want a Nocturne HD where it's DMC4 Dante.
No, I want one where it's DMC Dante.
That would be...
No, okay.
Also...
Can I get Shin Megami Tensei 4 PS4 HD version with DMC Dante?
Yes, that's also permissible.
Okay.
I just want a scene where, like, he's in the Labyrinth of Amala, and, like, Metatron's there, and he just goes, fuck you, and Metatron goes, fuck you.
Fuck you!
But while, like, that law theme is playing
Namely, I want to kill the Demon Lord Lucifer. I'm getting support in the chat over that Rido's cooler than Dante thing. So.
That's because these are goobers who don't know the beauty of Devil May Cry.
Oh, man, he's a fancy boy.
Man, I still want to play through Devil May Cry at some point for YouTube stuff, too. The problem is I'm bad at Devil May Cry, and I need to become good, which will take years, but...
Do a Let's Play Devil May Cry 2. It's the one no one likes.
I don't like that game enough to ever touch that again, I don't think. I mean, maybe actually showing that...
Hold on. I think... The man who has Let's Plays of Drakengard and SMT1 is drawing the line. The man who streamed Croc is drawing the line at DMC2.
I think all of those games you listed are way better than Devil May Cry 2.
So I'd agree. Drakengard,
I would rather play Drakengard than Devil May Cry 2 again.
Fair enough.
I should retract that. I can imagine playing Devil May Cry 2 on a stream in the sense of everyone that I'm streaming it with being like, look at how fucking bad this is. Because, like, the gap in quality from Devil May Cry 1 to 2 is so fucking... Ooh.
That's true. And even then... Devil May Cry 1 doesn't hold up as well as some people would think.
It doesn't, but I mean, like, Amanda and I played through it, like, not too long ago, and we had a pretty fun time with it. Man, that game, you can tell, had roots in being a Resident Evil game.
Yeah.
It's fascinating, but yeah, the combat isn't the greatest in that game, and also I think that there are some parts of Devil May Cry 1 that I actually just think are bullshit, but that could also just me being bad.
Well, anyway, I think I actually really kind of want to play through Nocturne again too, so I might boot up that Rido ROM at some point.
Yeah. What happened to me possibly setting up Patreon? I don't think I'm at a point where I'm happy enough with my content output to have people giving me money for things. Maybe someday. Maybe
Maybe when you're not spamming people's inboxes with a Zelda episode
Yeah.
that no one wants.
Yeah, and like shittily shot videos of me building Gunpla.
No, dude, the Gunpla ones are good.
Okay. My room's lighting. I've just kind of determined that my room's lighting setup is a fucking mess, and like, oof. Especially too when like most of the time when I can record and like here is at night, which makes things worse. So after episode 10, I'm gonna be blogging about Gunpla instead of making videos because I also want my blog to have shit too. Rasen.zone, go there. It's where all the cool kids hang out. Yeah. So.
Yeah.
So.
You hear that train in the background for me?
No, actually. This is the one time I can't hear your background train.
Oh well.
So, you know... Star Wars.
People are demanding you keep it as videos, man.
People are demanding what?
People are demanding that Build and Chill continue as videos.
Oh, okay. Maybe I'll do a little bit of both.
Yeah, like every once in a while, you can throw a special video out there for the rabble.
Yeah. Let's see. So, also part of it, too, is just, like, man, building with a tripod next to me can be a little annoying sometimes, but, I'd rather just take photos and then write about it, but...
Yeah.
I'm happy people like them, though, because I wasn't sure.
I liked them.
Okay.
I had to work when you did that live stream, but I tuned in every here and there.
That was a really fun, chill live stream, and I want to do more stuff akin to that, I think, at some point.
Yeah.
I don't know what, though, but... Yeah.
Star Wars.
Star Wars.
Let's talk about Episode 4, The Phantom Menace.
Yeah, so let's actually talk about Star Wars, EA's Star Wars Battlefront, parentheses 2015. So, we are recording this podcast a few days after the release of Star Wars Battlefront 2, parentheses 2017.
Yes.
Which has been a fucking roller coaster of events. I don't know how well you've been keeping up with this, Zach.
I work at GameStop. Rasen.
So have people been bitching to you about Loot Crate stuff as they buy the video game, or?
Do you not think that I've been well acquainted with the evolving story as a store that sells the Loot Crates?
Oh, nice. Yeah. That makes sense. So, Star Wars Battlefront 2 coming out, it became apparent very quickly that to get anything in that game, you would either need to spend an absurd amount of time playing, or you'd need to get lucky with their random loot crate system, or you need to buy more loot crates through microtransactions. This pissed off a lot of people. EA eventually, collapsed under pressure, and they're like, hey, we're gonna add in all that bullshit later. Not that they were going to solve anything, just that they were going to delay the bullshit.
So they said that microtransactions will return at a later date once the balance is better.
Yeah, which sounds to me like bullshit.
So I think that it's possible that they really will pull back on some of the buying gun stuff and maybe bring it back as a more cosmetic thing.
Mm-hmm.
But it will be back.
Yeah. Now, did you hear the story about our boy Big Sean 666 not 6. Just Big Sean 66.
No.
Ooh, you missed out, man. So while the microtransaction controversy was raging all over the internet, a man by the name of Big Sean66, who in his Twitter bio described himself as EA game dev,
Oh, yes, I did hear about this, okay.
tweeted about, like, man, I've already gotten so many death threats from this. Jason Schreier from Kotaku eventually determined that no, in fact, this man actually probably does not work at EA. He was just pretending to get death threats for attention, I guess. And it's also very easy to tell that he was lying about the EA thing, because if you just name search him with the phrase EA, well, not anymore because he went private, but if you name searched him and then looked up EA, he had a thing from a few months back that was him being like, yeah, I'm celebrating my first year anniversary at EA. It's been great. And then from a few years back, he had a tweet that was like, oh yeah, as someone who's been at EA since 2007, comma. So yeah, Ninto asked, why did this guy spend so much time pretending to be an EA employee? I honestly think he just wanted the Twitter attention. I don't know. Some people are weird on the internet like that with...
Yeah, and you know what? It's possible he did get a death threat by someone that believed him, you know?
Yeah. Which also isn't, like, regardless of, like, that guy being full of shit, like, don't send death threats, people. It's not ever okay.
But, like, he pulled it off for years. Like, didn't some, like, game journalist people follow him?
Yeah, that's the other thing. Like, not only did game journalist people follow him, people who work at EA followed him. Just assuming, hey, it's probably some dude that works downstairs, you know?
Yeah.
So... yeah, the internet's fucking weird.
What a great time. I heard that Star Wars Battlefront 2 is not that good, even without the microtransactions thing.
I've heard... So, Zach, were you aware? I think I actually told you about this, and you laughed about them, but I don't know. You might not remember, or I might not have actually done this. Before Force Awakens came out, were you aware of those Disney like the Disney Channel commercials that were summarizing Star Wars movies for little dumb children who have never seen Star Wars but wanted to see Force Awakens?
No.
I'm pretty sure I sent a few of them your way, but this was also 2 years ago. So
Yeah, I've forgotten by now, for sure.
right before Force Awakens came out, the Disney Channel kept airing these ads, and, like, everyone on the internet was making fun of them, that are like, in Star Wars 4, a young boy who works in a desert planet as a moisture farmer with his aunt and uncle goes on to save the galaxy. Like, it's recapping the Star Wars movies for kids because they didn't watch them. But, like, you know, Star Wars 7's everywhere, so they want to see it, right?
Yeah.
And, like, it's just the thing where, like, everyone on the internet's like, oh god, I'm old, you know, like, that sort of thing. People are comparing the Battlefront 2 single player to those commercials. Apparently, there's like, it's literally, like, every mission, it's like, hey, main heroine meets Han Solo. Han Solo is important because he did this and this and this. Hey, main character meets Tarkin, or, like, not Tarkin, but, like, you know, like the random hero character.
Yeah.
And like, you get a rundown of why they're cool, and it's apparently really fan servicey and bad.
Oh, that's a shame.
I think they did recap episode 1 through 3. Yeah.
I guess it's better than having no story mode.
Yeah. So funny you should say that, because with all the hubbub of Star Wars Battlefront 2, I had recently purchased, as part of my VR situation, the Ultimate Edition of Star Wars Battlefront, because that comes with a X-Wing VR mission thing, which I still haven't downloaded yet. So here's the one thing I will say. Normally on PSN, for those who have never bought one, and I don't blame you, when you buy a version of a game that has all the DLC, when you click download, everything downloads all... It triggers the whole, like, download everything flag, you know?
Yeah.
Like, you download it, and then you'll see all the DLC and expansion packs and whatever the fuck is downloading alongside of it. this is the first game where you need to actually go inside the game menus themselves and individually click on the different map packs and be like, no, I want to download this right now.
Yeah. This happened live, by the way.
This did. I never put that stream up because I wasn't really happy with it.
Yeah.
But we streamed some VR stuff, and we were disappointed because I had to download the X-Wing thing, and I couldn't just play it from the Battlefront menu. Also, too, so during that stream, you saw me take forever to connect to the EA server because you need to be signed into your EA account to play Battlefront. That problem is frequent.
Oof.
It took me, I think, 4 minutes from booting this game up to getting into a match, and that's rough. I have some thoughts on Battlefront 1, and this is going to go back. So,
Okay.
I have been a fan of DICE, and by extension, EA. DICE is the developer, EA is the publisher. I've been a fan of DICE's take on the whole FPS formula for a while now. I am a pretty big Battlefield fan, actually.
Yeah, you play the field.
I played the field. I've played the field since Bad Company 2, which I still think is their best one. But they are very good at making large, sweeping multiplayer maps where there's just a shit ton of players that are cooperatively working to take objectives and turn the tide of battle, and like actually have the synchronization that I want out of a multiplayer game where there is explosions and like Hollywood action shit happening while also having like strategy. And something that I always have loved about Battlefield is that even if you aren't the most twitchy, like good reaction, like actual marksman of a player, you can still help out the other three guys that you're in a squad with, and by extension the whole team, just by being smart. If
Man, I'm fucked.
Yeah. Hey. And I know, like, actually, it's funny because I think that was like the appeal of Overwatch for a lot of people. But I think Battlefield has been that for a while now, where, hey, even if you aren't that guy who can go in and, like, actually take an objective, you can be that guy who stays behind, and then when your buddy goes in to run over people with his Jeep or, like, deliver shit to other players, you can be that guy that stays behind, and then when your bud drives up to you, be like, okay, I can repair this now, you know? Like, you can just play repair or medic the whole game. I mean, you're gonna have to shoot people at some point or another, obviously, but like, you have options. And also too, if you have a positional advantage or like you outmaneuver or flank someone, they're basically fucked. Even if they're generally better at reacting to you. There's a lot of strategy that goes into Battlefield, and I think part of that has been lost in the public consciousness just because Battlefield has now become, it's the, like, anti-Call of Duty, you know? Like, It's the big competitor, and I hate that it's kind of been simplified to that in people's minds, because there's a lot more depth there than people think.
Well, do the new Battlefield still have that depth, or?
They've sacrificed a little bit of it, but mostly yes. They've made the maps a little more aggressive, and like they've basically made it that you can get away with just being the guy who wants to shoot people, whereas the other games, if you were the guy who just wanted to shoot people, you were fucking over the team. But they still get away with it by saying, okay, you can be the guy that wants to run around and shoot people, but you're gonna lose the game if you don't play the objectives. Like, if you're just off on this side of the map where the enemy team is shooting at them, like, you're helping, kind of, but the rest of that team can still go in and blow up the thing that you should be defending, you know?
Yeah.
Which I think is a really smart way of doing that, because after a certain point, that starts to weed out the people that don't want to take it as seriously, while still giving those people kind of what they want. But after a bit, I think those people kind of realize, I'm losing matches because I'm not doing what I should be doing. Now, Star Wars Battlefront is baby's first Battlefield game.
Okay.
And it fucking shows, because holy shit, these are the dumbest motherfuckers I have ever played an online shooter with. Oh my god. I have never seen so many PSNs that are just like Marcus underscore Jedi 24. Like, it's
Mm,
that, but also no one knows how to play these games. And I kind of feel bad for DICE, but also I kind of think that they set up this game to reward that in some really bad ways. The first thing I want to say off the bat is, so in Battlefield you have 4 different classes. You have a medic class, which obviously is like healing and reviving people that were recently killed. You have a engineer class, which is repairing specialized equipment and vehicles and stuff like that. You have a support class, which runs around and gives people ammo and generally are like the big like heavy weapons guy that will like, they're the guys that go up on a hill with a machine gun, and their objective isn't necessarily to shoot and kill people rather than be like just shooting at a general area and making people afraid to run out in the open because there's machine gun fire everywhere, you know? And then there's the snipers, and they're supposed to be like long range kills and also like spotting for the enemy, like spotting for the rest of the team, because you can ping people and then on the map enemies will show up after someone like spots someone. And within that structure you have teams about like you have big teams that are broken down into 4-man squads, and ideally everyone in that squad is playing one of those classes. Depending on the situation, some people want to switch out, but you all have a role to play within your squad, and then that has an impact on the greater actual match that's going on. They change out squads in this game to a partner system. And one thing I should actually clarify too. In Battlefield, when you die, you are given like a 7-second cooldown where you're just watching the map as a dead person. And then you are given the option to respawn either at a command point that your team has currently under control, or you can spawn on one of your squad mates who is still alive. In this game, it is simplified to, yeah, you have some places you can spawn at, or you can spawn on your one partner. But if your one partner is dead, you just have to go all the way back to the beginning. And you also don't have classes, you just have different types of equipment. Now, that doesn't sound like it would maybe be the most crucial change, because the different types of equipment that play different roles are all still there. But what it ends up being is that in Battlefield, even at the start of the game when you have the shitty default equipment, you can still play your role. Like, you might not be doing it to the best of its capability, but you have a role to fulfill in the map. When you start Battlefront 1, you have a blaster and a grenade that is good against people and a grenade that is good against vehicles, and that is it. And fucker, you are gonna suffer through your early matches until you can get some of the cooler shit. And that sucks. And also, too, because there's no classes, people don't get into the situation of, oh, I should be doing this, I should be fulfilling this role. So everyone just wants the shit that's good at killing people. There are maybe 2 people I saw the entirety of when I was playing that used the shield, where basically it's like you know how Winston has the bubble shield? It's basically that. And it's super useful. No one uses it, because everyone just want to kill people.
Yeah.
So I will say, it captures Star Wars in the sense that if you look at Star Wars fight sequences, they're not very tactical. It's just a bunch of fuckers playing laser tag running around like assholes. And
Yeah.
this game captures that really well. But
okay.
But it doesn't make for a very, like, they wanted this to be a little deeper, I think. And it like, it's just becomes a bunch of people running around shooting each other like laser tag, and then, oh, I guess let's all bum rush the objective.
Rasen, I think you nailed it earlier, man. I've sold this game to a lot of kids.
Yeah, they're the stupidest fucking people I've ever played an online FPS game with, to the point where I lucked out one of my early matches where me and this one dude were clearly the best 2 players in the entire, like, 40-man game. I think combined we had more, like, points on the scoreboard than anyone else in the, like, on our team. and we were supposed to be taking an objective. Everyone was running down the main alleyway, I guess you want to call it, towards the objective, and just, it was this constant tug of war. And this guy was motioning, like, kind of motioning me to come over, like, I wasn't on voice chat or anything, he was probably talking to me, to come around the side and flank and start to kill the enemy team from behind. And we had a lot of success doing that, and we were doing really well. And then immediately all the kids on our team noticed what we were doing, and instead of just everyone going down the main thing, everyone just decided to go the way that us two were going. And then the problem repeated itself, where everyone on both teams was just going down this part of the map again. And the entire idea of having, like, this small man team doing, like, a cool, like, hit and run, like, on the objective, like, stealthily, it just went right out the window, and it went back to chaos again. And I was really sad.
Yeah.
That said, this game kind of makes me want to go buy Battlefield 1. Because I realized I kind of want to play Battlefield again, but like a good one with smart players.
I mean, geez, how much does Battlefield 1 even cost these days?
I think it's around $30. I might wait for Black Friday, see if there's anything. Battlefield 1 is a thing that it seems like the people like me who like Battlefield seem to really like it. They solved some franchise-wide issues that game has had forever, that I really like. On paper, at least. I have yet to really play it other than, like, maybe 30 minutes at a friend's. I heard the campaign is actually better than the other Battlefield games because Battlefield is... Like, say what you will about Call of Duty campaigns being, like, really shallow, but they're dumb Hollywood action movies, and they play that role very well. Battlefield campaigns are just garbage. To the point where I tried playing Battlefield 4's campaign, and it kept deleting my save data. It's been a problem. It's been a problem since launch, and they have never bothered to patch it because they said, and I think it's an actual quote, they said they didn't think that it was worth the resources.
Okay.
The thing with Battlefield, though, is that it has a lot of DLC attached with each game. And I kind of fell off playing... I fell off my want to get it day one anymore because it was getting a little pricey. And I just kind of, like, starting with Battlefield 4, I was like, hey, I can wait for the premium edition and then just play with everything and, like, just hop in, you know? Even though, like, the game might not be as active, there are still full servers, and that's all I need. I can still play all the game modes that I want to play. Maybe you see a few PSNs pop up more often than you would near the game's launch when it's at its peak popularity, but, like,
that's when you start creating legends.
Yes. So, yeah, Battlefield 1 is something I have my eyes on in the future, and I think maybe I'll break my rule and get that sooner rather than waiting for the premium edition with all the expansions and shit. So
pretty sure it's out.
Well, there's one expansion, but normally there's 3 or 4.
Oh, because I know there's a new version that we sell that has, like, the expansions in it.
Yeah, and this one's actually interesting. So normally they just actually call them map packs. This one, though, they're calling an expansion because it actually does have more single-player content, which is a first for them. This is their first story-based DLC, too. So, yeah.
All right.
I want to give it a try. But, yeah, Star Wars Battlefront 1 is a... Oh, actually, one thing I will say. So, like, this is just part of me, like, still enjoying the new TV. But, like, man, that game looks great. It actually sounds great, too.
Yeah, I've heard that's one of the main things is the looks and the sound.
There's a map that is just called Cinders of Endor, and it's just a burned down version of Endor with like part of like the forest is just on fire. It looks so fucking good. But yeah, I'm happy I didn't pay more than like $6 to $8. I don't even remember what I paid for it, but any more, and I think I would have felt cheated.
I'm telling you, we should go grab Destiny 1, $2. Let's go.
Are you serious?
Destiny 1 is like $2.
I would be down for that, actually, if you're unironic.
Oh, so I said that as a joke before, and you said, why would we do that when we could buy Destiny 2?
I mean, yeah, but like I didn't know that it was in the single digits at this point. I'd be
Oh god,
totally,
yeah, man.
I'd be totally down. Yeah, let's play Destiny 1, Zach.
All right, let's do it.
Okay. Oh god.
No DLC.
Oh, there's no DLC though.
No, it's just the base game.
Oh, is it really worth it then?
I don't know. It's $2.
Yeah, fuck it. Are we talking $2 on PSN or on Amazon or GameStop?
No, I mean at GameStop, go buy a physical copy for $2.
Okay. Well, let's do that. Let's give Destiny a go.
Just be aware you can't trade it in anymore.
I kind of figured that would be one of those games. I don't trade in games anyways.
Mm-hmm.
Marita in the chat is like, base game Destiny 1 is not good. Yeah. Destiny 1 seems like one of those things that definitely got better with the DLC, but I mean, for $2, we can get our foot in the door.
Nintendo said that Zach is such a good employee. He just got a $2 sale from Rasen.
Yeah. Hey, if this fucker ever needs a website or a social media manager, I'll shill my services. I won't.
Yeah.
So, Friday...
You just got so fucking called out in the chat right now.
Oh, yeah. I don't trade in... I traded in a Switch by trading in my old 3DS. But the only reason I traded my old 3DS was because Amanda got me a new 3DS.
Alright.
So I do trade in things when it's literally like, oh, I don't have... The only other thing I traded in is I traded in a bunch of games that like I never wanted to play ever again because there's that really absurd GameStop like in-store credit sale, which I used to buy Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite and Mario Rabbids.
So, yeah, we did do that thing where you trade in some games. But also, like, I reached a thing where I started, like... I still don't like to trade in games, but I traded in Splatoon and something else. I forget what it was. Because I had a revelation, which was... Oh, it was Mario Kart 7. Because I was like, those games have been completely replaced. And it's not even like, oh, well, maybe I'll want to go back to them one day. Like, in a couple of years, Splatoon 1 will not exist.
Yeah.
So I might as well get something for them until it's just a space taker, you know? Because once the servers on Splatoon go down, it's done, you know?
Yeah. I have a story, actually. I've actually made positive money on Horizon Zero Dawn.
Oh, yeah.
Because of that trade-in deal.
Yeah.
So, I bought Horizon kind of because I wanted to play it, but more so because Amanda wanted to play it. And I bought it with Berserk Muso as part of like a Best Buy deal thing on their site. So, like, I played Berserk, she played Horizon, and then I got Horizon back, and I, instead of playing it, used it for GameStop credit. And then recently Amazon had Horizon on sale for $20, and I bought it, and I did the math, and, like, I think I've technically made $15.
Good.
Out of buying Horizon because of how much credit I got from that trade-in. So... yeah.
Speaking of sales.
Oh, yeah, speaking of sales, Melty Blood was on sale the other day, which I didn't tell Zach about, I just bought it.
Nope.
Yeah.
No one told me that Melty Blood was on sale.
I assumed you were a true fan and had it on your Steam wish list.
I don't really use Steam a lot, so I don't really pay attention unless I see something, like,
I get text messages, or, like, technically push notifications when stuff happens on sale on my wish list. So, I keep up to date.
So, Rasen bought Melty Blood for, like, $5.
It was like 10, but yeah.
I thought you said 5.
No, I think you kept saying 5, but it was more like 10.
Either way. Um,
Yes.
oh, I thought you were gonna. Oh,
Oh no,
mm,
this is
oh,
good. See,
mm,
people in the chat. I'm not gonna cut this out of the recording either. This is usually the type of awkward pause that I edit out.
mm.
This is behind the scenes, but I'm gonna leave this one in.
I was also slightly distracted by Hippoleon saying that they won Berserk Muso by Tecmo Koei's Twitter giveaway.
Hmm,
Nice.
that's fun.
Yeah, no. So yeah, you bought Melty Blood for literally $5 and nothing more, and then I was told after, literally the day after the sale ended, that Melty Blood had been on sale. And so I remember I played Melty Blood a while back. Like,
Should we clarify what Melty Blood is?
if someone is watching this and you don't know what Melty Blood is, get the fuck out. Yeah, clarify what Melty Blood is.
So Melty Blood is part of this take a shot Nasuverse Type Moon bullshit.
I've corrupted everything.
It is the sequel to Tsukihime, which is a visual novel by Kinoku Nasu, who is also the dude who wrote Fate Stay Night.
Yeah, that's why I said it's poetic. We started with Heaven's Feel. In case you came in late in the chat, I did talk about going to see the Heaven's Feel movie. It's very good. And now we're ending with Melty Blood.
Yeah.
Full circle. What's also great is that Rasen said, hey, Melty Blood was just on sale, so I bought it. You know, I'll get around to playing that eventually. And I went, Rasen, if I buy Melty Blood right now, will you play it with me?
Yep.
Because I've wanted to play Melty Blood again for so long, but like no one would ever buy Melty Blood. So I bought Melty Blood for full price.
And we've been figuring it out, and I have to say, so before this, we had a brief stint because it was on PS Plus of playing Undernight in Birth EXE late.
Yeah, not latest, but just late.
Yeah. There's a PS4 version called Latest coming out soon, question mark in English, but we'll see. And it is made by the same developer as Melty Blood, named French Bread. And I gotta say, I think of the anime fighter, like air dashing, high mobility, like subgenre of fighting game, I think French Bread, I like their take on it the best. I really like how both Melty Blood and Undernight in Birth feel. Like, a lot.
I mean, I really, really like Arxis a
Yeah.
lot. I like Guilty Gear, I like Blaze Blue, and Dragon Ball looks really fun.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, man, I really like French Bread too. I like the way Melty Blood and Undernight feel. I should clarify, in case you don't know, I am not a good fighting game player. I'm actually like the most beginner a beginner can get, which is my whole life I've just button mashed. I've never been able to like successfully pull off things. So I had a couple months back, I think we talked about playing Guilty Gear, and I had Antinomy kind of like start teaching me the ropes, and like now that I'm doing Melty Blood, I'm like practicing how to pull off like quarter circle moves and like practicing combos and stuff. So I'm gonna try to get in there in time for Dragon Ball next year.
I have the motions down, and I memorize some combos for each of the games I play, but then, like, the actual time it takes to learn, like, the neutral game fucks me up. Because it reaches a point, too, where it's like, okay, you practice all this stuff, but then it's like, now just keep playing until, like, you see what works and what doesn't, you know? And
Yeah.
I always, like, start to slip up around that point for the vast majority of games I play just because I run out of time, but...
I'm still in like an earlier stage than you, in the sense of like Antinomy was like, here, just practice like the quarter circle move, and it's like, yeah, I can pull it off 80% of the time.
Yeah.
Not 100%. Sometimes I just do like a crouching punch. So yeah. But like that's why when we play it ends up like I'll beat you like 2 times, you'll beat me like 8 times. But it's fun because I'm having fun.
Yeah, exactly.
I like learning it.
There's something to be said about the very low level enjoyment of fighting games, of just like going at it and not really exactly it took us a while to figure out how supers and shit worked in this game too, because to be fair, they're kind of obtuse in this one.
And to be honest, I still don't really get the moon system.
Yeah.
There's like 3 different versions of each character.
Yeah, basically. That's the gist of it.
Yeah. That being said, you're playing a Ryogi Shiki, yeah?
Yeah, I like her a lot. I'm very happy because I like Haruno Kyokai, and Shiki is cool. And I also, I just happen to really like how she plays a lot, too.
It's really convenient that you happen to like the one character you know.
Mm-hmm. So,
meanwhile...
It's funny you say that because I'm halfway through Arquid's route in Tsukihime.
Go fuck yourself. Are you serious?
Welcome to the reason why this podcast is live.
Fuck you! I can't believe you've pulled this on me twice!
So yeah, Tsukihime is interesting. So it stars a young lad by the name of Shiki Tono, who had a car accident when he was a child, but there seems to be more than that because the opening involves a lot of dead bodies. And he wakes up in the hospital and he gets mystic eyes of death perception, and then he meets a lady who is a sister of a woman from Karno Kyokai who gives him special glasses so he doesn't have to see like weird death lines everywhere. And then he grows up and now he's in high school and there's vampire things happening in this town. I got to the part where the first big vampire bad gets killed by Arquid and Shiki Tono.
My stomach hurts.
Yeah, it's fine. So, what can I say about Tsukihime? There's a few things I can say about Tsukihime, but story-wise, what I want to get
this
into.
is really happening.
Yeah, it is. Fuck you. So, a lot of the story elements are, like, reused from Karno Kyokai, and I kind of knew that going in because of the whole, like, character named Shiki thing, and, like, you know, mystic eyes of death perception and all that. But, like, I didn't expect, like, the main character having, like, murderous urges that, like, they don't really understand, and, like, them working through the morality of that to be a factor.
Yeah.
Shiki and Arquid are interesting because Shiki kind of feels like a combination of Shiki Ryogi from Karno Kyokai and, what's the, Mikia.
Yeah. I think I said that when you started watching Karen or Kyokai.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Nero Chaos is cool, but also, there's a scene I took umbrage with where, like, he was about to kill people, and then he was like, the sun's coming up, and then he just left, but, like, it kind of seemed like he could have spent 5 extra seconds to do the thing, but he didn't.
Do you like that better or worse than Gilgamesh going, I could kill you, but this fire is going to get dust on my jacket?
Oh yeah, that's also pretty bad.
So I just want, before you go any further, because I can't believe this is happening.
Yeah.
I want everyone to understand that I mentioned earlier, like, oh man, Fate for me was like 10 years ago, but then I realized, like, like, it was a little bit, like, Tsukihime is one of the first, like, visual novels I ever read, and I was, like, young, and that was actually, like, at least 10 years ago. And I have not read it again since. So this is very surreal for me right now.
From an actual visual novel perspective, I want to say that I don't play many I don't read, I guess, many visual novels. I can tell that production-wise, this is the worst one I've ever seen. There's a few times where the game offers you choices, and then the character goes, oh, I was going to eat here. Like the game will give you, like, an option that's like, oh, do I want to eat lunch alone in the classroom, or do I want to go see my friends in the cafeteria? And then it's like, Shiki decided to go eat lunch in the classroom, and then he's like, oh, I'm lonely, and I feel obligated to talk to my friends, and then you get the cafeteria scene anyways.
Ooh.
Which, from what I know, is not the norm for visual novels. The other thing is, and like I know this is apparently a lot more common of a thing, but just in the ones I've played, like a lot of the different backgrounds are just like heavily filtered actual photographs of places.
Yeah, that's a very low budget thing to do.
Yeah.
So hey, this was made when Type Moon was like an indie company, you know?
Yeah, you can tell. Some of the writing is a little I mean it's Nasu, but
it ain't Fate.
Yeah.
Is that a compliment or an insult? You decide.
I like learning about the 27 true ancestors and the dead apostles.
Is the 27 are mentioned in that, huh?
Yeah, they're brought up a lot because Nervingsker is a true ancestor. Or no, he's not. He's a dead apostle, but he's friends with the true ancestor, I think.
I think he's not a true ancestor, but I think he's one of the 27.
Oh yeah, he's part of the 27. He's part of the 27.
Yeah, so there's true ancestors, there's dead apostles, and then there's the 27 dead apostle ancestors or whatever.
Yes, okay, that's I thought there were 27 true ancestors, but no, yeah, you're right what you said there.
Yeah. So you like an Arquade?
She's cool. I think
How do you like Prototype Saber?
I think I like her, at least from what I've seen, a lot more than a lot of the other heroines in Type Moon stuff so far. I mean, like supporting role heroines. She's no Shiki, but I like her more than Rin, and
interesting.
I like her more than I guess both Irisville and Maya from Zero. There's just something about the idea of the main character, or of that character's introduction being like, oh, I'm murdered, and then reviving, and then being like, now how can I exploit the person who murdered me and his guilt to my advantage?
Yeah, they pull off the like a very like powerful, dangerous entity, but also has like that innocent, friendly side thing.
Yeah,
that Nasu likes a lot.
I have been spoiled on the more suspect stuff.
Yeah, that there's some really questionable material in that.
I know that there is this point where the main character threatens to do a thing to someone to like as like a distraction, or to like try to convince them to not do something else that's really fucked up. Yeah.
There's some stuff. It's I'm pretty sure from 2001. You know?
Yeah.
So
it feels and looks like it.
And also the writing is not like, yeah, a lot of the stuff in there would be like people would call bullshit on like, hey man, that's not, you know.
Yeah.
If it were today. Man, I bet you can't wait for that little sister route, huh?
Oh god. That's the thing that's been so fucking weird. So like you get the shit with all the vampire stuff, and then the second side of the story is, oh, you after your biological father who kicked you out of the house is dead, your little sister wants you to move back into your gigantic mansion, and there's these two maid babes there too.
I remember a lot of that visual novel. Like, the main thing that stands out is, like, the maid waking you up every morning.
Yeah. And, like
that is a very distinct memory.
There's that, and she's always like, oh, you need to eat breakfast, or oh, you need to bathe, and, like, yeah.
Yeah. Fetishes.
Yeah, that's kind of where I was going with that.
I'll say this: if you really plan on sticking to Tsukihime, the one really positive to that as a visual novel experience, is that every route has like a new revelation that recontextualizes the whole thing.
That's good. I'm 18 hours in, so I can't stop now.
I mean, 18 hours into Route 1 of 5?
Yeah.
So, yeah. But, yeah, so, like, they all have something to them that is, like, a new revelation.
Though I've heard the first one is the longest because you can skip repeat text after your first run.
Well, do you know about the near side and the far side thing?
Yeah, the English patch comes with a flowchart thing that kind of lays out how to
Oh,
go through
okay.
the game. I haven't really been looking at it yet, but like there's a flowchart thing that lets you know which routes you can and cannot do first. So
Yeah, but even then, like, the game is, like, 2 routes are kind of in one side, and then,
yeah,
like, 3 of them are on another side.
yeah, I'm gonna do that second. I'm gonna do Arkwood's route first, and then I'm gonna do CL second.
Okay, so you're going to do Arc Raid CL and then go to Akia, and then...
The
Okay.
maids, yeah. Yeah, that's one thing though. Melty Blood a little didn't exactly know what was up with CL, but Melty Blood kind of
Yeah, a little bit of a spoiler, huh?
yeah, a little bit.
I can't believe that you're doing this.
So there was a Skype call we were having where I was really quiet, and at some point you asked like, Rasen, what are you up to? And I said I'm installing the thing, and then you moved on.
Hey, do you have music?
Yeah.
Mine didn't.
You have to go through some weird bullshit to install the music into the English patch version. It's fucking weird.
I was a kid and didn't know what they were talking about and just played it without music.
Hey, I'm an adult, and I had trouble. So here's the other thing. They tell you in that instructional setup, okay, please download this program and then export these MP3 files into these whatever files.
Mm.
Now, that translation happened in like 2008, so that program, while still free and available to use, has gone through massive changes. And figuring out...
I think it was earlier than 2008.
The translation was actually a little bit later. But still...
Because I want to say, maybe it was 2008 I played that in then.
Mm-hmm. But still, that program you need to convert those music files in was the menus are completely different, so I figured it out though. But
yeah.
It's not too bad if you spend a little, like, you just need to explore around and dig a little bit deeper, but it's fine. So yeah, are you proud of me?
No,
Yeah, I'm not either.
I'm not. I can't believe you're reading Tsukihime before Fate's Day Night.
Yeah, I gotta get it in there.
Yeah.
So I think that covers all that we wanted to talk about.
The English patch came out in 2006.
Oh, okay.
I was gonna say, I know I didn't read that in 2008. I read that before then. Oh my god. Man, I can't believe that we finally finished the recurring Karen Kyokai segment, and now you're reading Tsukihime. I hope you guys weren't sick of Tight Moon stuff. And this is gonna be a weird one for me, because there's a lot I don't remember.
It's okay, I'll be sure to remind you.
Yeah. Oh boy. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy.
So, I guess we'll give a little bit of a shout out to the chat. Hey chat, got any questions or things you want us to discuss?
Still with us. A while back, Lewis asked us what our opinion on the It book was.
I started rereading it. I like it. It's a little long, but I don't know. It's not as fresh as other King stuff is to me. I read that one a while ago, so I don't got too much to say about Gundam versus DLC, honestly.
Yeah, I read it a while back, and I really don't remember all that much about it other than the weird stuff. Yeah. I mean, you're in good company if you're starting Drakengard 1, man.
Yeah.
Now, how far you get through it, that's a different story.
Yeah.
Mm.
Gotta get ending E. Let's look through emails.
Okay. We have emails.
But also keep posting in the chat. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean...
We'll alternate.
Yeah.
This one's from Kendall, and he says, "Hey, Rasen and Zach, I first wanted to start off this email by saying you guys are awesome, and I recently fell in love with this podcast. Keep up the amazing work. I don't know about you, but I feel like it seems like on the internet nowadays that people love to be super cynical about gaming. I scroll down my YouTube feed every once in a while and always see this game is broken, everything wrong with the games industry, or this game has so many problems, I'm done types of videos. It kind of seems like people just don't find the fun in video games anymore. But while I'm hearing all of this, it's continued to be a source of joy in my life. So when everyone is apparently outraged about this or that, I've been here loving a lot about what I play. Basically, my question is, how do you feel about the cynicism of the gaming community as a whole is? I know there's problems and everyone has a different opinion, but all the hate seems to be a bit overboard to me. Thanks for reading this all the way through. Sorry about the length, and P.S. I thought SMT4 Apocalypse was awesome." Well, we disagree, but actually no, I still like Apocalypse, but I do think that game went in directions I don't necessarily like too. So
I have very strong opinions on the subject, actually.
About Apocalypse.
Well, yes, but no. First of all, thanks for listening. Also, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm also sorry that you're listening to us.
Man, so I think I've told this before, but like there was a point in time where like the overwhelming negativity and cynicism on the internet towards video games and like video game communities really started bumming me out. And the exact moment was actually that like I reached an apex was the Mass Effect 3 thing, where like I just wanted to talk about like the emotions I was having about these characters, and everyone was like so negative and like, "Oh, you fucking garbage taste if you like that shit game. What about the ending?" And I'm just like, I mean, yeah, sure, if you got problems with it, but I just wanted to have like fun. And also like the Final Fantasy 13 thing, like it was kind of like hard to talk about things I liked when everyone was so overwhelmingly negative about them. And then I just stopped caring. And it's been a lot better since then. I think people have fun with negativity, and I'm not going to pretend that I don't as well. And even sometimes I like to overblow my feelings on things a lot, because it makes it dramatic and it makes me feel like I'm alive.
Let's be real. Sometimes it's just fucking fun.
It is.
And like, I don't even say people do it intentionally, but like, I don't even give that much of a fuck about Sonic, but I love dragging it sometimes just for the absurdity. You know what I like?
Yeah.
That's just how it goes, you know?
And even like, I'm guilty of like, did the Silent Hill movie really ruin my life? No, but I like to complain about it like it did.
Yeah.
You know, like it's just sometimes it feels good to complain about things that bother you.
Like, I'm not gonna probably think that much about Battlefront 1 as much of, like, I gave that long-winded speech about it earlier, but, like, sometimes you just gotta let those feelings out a little bit, but also, too, like, I think everyone on the internet exists within some degree of hyperbole of their actual thoughts.
Yeah. Ninto in the chat says something interesting, which is that he's never heard a good thing about Final Fantasy 13 and asked me what I like about it. I'm not going to dwell too long on that because, honestly, I just liked it. I liked the story. I liked the characters. And I think the game has problems, especially in the fact that it takes half of the game for the combat system to actually fully introduce itself to you. But once it does, I thought the combat system was really fun. And it was just a story that I got into and liked. But when trying to talk about that, the entire internet said, "No, you have shit taste, fuck off." And that was kind of a bummer at the time. And then I just kind of stopped caring. And it, like, honestly, it doesn't matter that people don't like the thing I liked. I'm not going to let it impact my enjoyment of the thing. You know?
I feel I have a few thoughts about this subject too. Unless you have anything else more you want to say before I go into my spiel.
No, the only thing I was going to say was that, like, I do think, like, the flip side of what that was that, like, I do think it's important to be open to people's criticisms of a thing. And, like, if you want to just put yourself in a little bubble of your own opinions, that's fine. But I also think there's merit in hearing what people say about things as well.
There's also, like, just in general value of knowing what the mainstream thinks about thing, even if, like, it's incorrect. No, but, Blade Runner 2049 was a box office bomb, but
Sonic Forces is Game of the Year.
Wait, what?
Wait, what? I didn't say anything.
Oh, I thought you meant, like, there was a site that came out with that. I was about to say, holy shit, where?
What are you talking? I didn't say anything. Go on.
Okay, so, no, I have a few thoughts. So the first thing about the YouTube feed thing, man, easiest fucking way to make YouTube money is to be outraged about every goddamn little thing on the internet. If you want to be the guy who constantly is the pro-consumer rights, I'm gonna make every fucking, like, video you can possibly make screaming about how I'm mad about Battlefront 2 loot boxes, you can do that, and you will constantly have material. If you want to be the guy that's mad that Sonic Forces was incomplete, and you want to make, like, 4 videos, like, analyzing how all of the different levels are, like, cut off, or, like, there's only so many zones, like, there is a never-ending amount of things that you'll be dissatisfied with that you can make a character out of and just yell at a camera and get people really hyped up and, like, to buy into it. It is, like, Angry Joe is the one I think of, like, even when that guy likes games, he has a shtick of being angry about things, and that's what people watch his shit for. Whether or not you like or find value in that content or not, you can't deny it's super popular. And, like, when he's not doing that persona, people get, like, critical of the videos where he's not acting, like, really hyped up about something, even when it's something, like, small or stupid or inconsequential. Like, people like to get angry about things, or watch characters they like get angry about things. It is, you very rarely see a lot of, like, big gaming personalities that are constant, like, that are known for being overwhelmingly positive, that are at that tier of, like, success.
Yeah.
And if they're not mad, they're also snarky. Like, if they're not being mad about something, they're being, like, condescending or snarky or cynical about something. There's actually a really good article I was reading the other day about how, like, certain indie developers are having a problem going to, like, indie game festivals that are, like, advertised too publicly now, because a bunch of 12-year-olds are going to these indie festivals and just let's playing games live, in the sense that they're playing these indie, like, artsy-fartsy games, and then just repeating or parodying the shit that they hear all of their favorite, like, let's players say, which is mostly, like, swearing and going, what the fuck is this? Yeah, kids are terrible, but, Lewis has something here. How do you guys feel about the whole thing about people getting mad at the P5 director because of what the art book said about the characters were designed to be cute? Yeah, honestly, like, man, fuck Hashino. Like, Zach, I don't know if you saw those at all.
I have the art book.
Oh, you do? Okay, you bought it too? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So here's the thing.
Yeah.
I think the way... I think the way that's worded is a little misleading. It's not just that he said the characters need to be cute.
It's that they have to be cute.
They have... Every female
else.
Character has to be cute and not something else.
Yeah.
And it's to the point where, like, the artists were designing interesting new designs, and he was going, no, but she's not cute, though.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, yeah, but she's tough, overworked reporter girl. Yeah, but she's not cute, though. And like that's kind of like, no, you're kind of hampering creativity because you need to sell the moe anime girls.
It's also almost like you shouldn't have a whole like part and like major theme of the beginning part of your game be about sexualization if you're just gonna make the same old tired male centric type of product anyways.
Yeah.
Like I am so ready for Hoshino to leave Persona, because it's also too, there's that one quote that's been floating around from forever ago where Hoshino's like, yeah, I don't really think that like I have any female friends really. I don't see how guys could have female friends if they're not like romantically interested, or, and it's like, come on, dude. Yeah.
Yeah. And like I'm not saying that the man can't make good games or anything, because I like Persona 3 a lot, but like, yeah, no, he's got problems. I disagree with a lot of his writing. So
I think the problem is that when you put him long term on a series that is known for being like socially relevant and like, I hate to say woke, but woke, those cracks will start to show after you start to say stupid shit over the
just
years.
like the cracks of death that Shiki Tono sees, am I right?
Yeah.
God, I can't believe you read Tsukihime.
I mean, I'm reading it, but do we want to talk about The Crow at all, by the way?
No.
Oh, we watched The Crow on Devil's Night. The Crow is really good.
Me, Rasen, and some others watched The Crow together.
Yeah. Using the same cool-ass setup that we used for the Breath of the Wild LP.
Yep.
Oh, that was fun. Yeah, I also think in that art book there's just also a lot of like, I don't know, I read through it more. I reviewed it.
I disagreed with your review. I was really disappointed with that art book.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I thought a lot of it was I thought a lot of it was, I mean, like, I love the art of Persona 5, especially the sorry, but Nintendo's finally, the Breath of the Wild LP delivers something useful. Hippolyon, you're making a very big mistake getting into visual novels. But no, I just the Persona 5 art is very good, especially the UI stuff, but I feel like that art book was just a lot of things of like, yeah, here's the thing from the game you saw, we made it. There wasn't a lot of nothing I couldn't find.
You wanted more like conceptual stuff?
I wanted more conceptual stuff. I wanted more developer insight, and I feel like it wasn't worth the money I spent.
I wish there was more written content in that book, but also too, man.
To be fair, you did say that in the review.
Yeah. Also, the written content that was there, though, like, man, a lot of what's said about the female characters in that book are really weird. Like, the one thing that also too is there's like a little thing. There's like a doodle of Anne with like longer hair. And, like, the dude's like, I worked really hard on this, and Hoshino's like, no, she looked better in my head. And, like, the thing was just never used in the actual game. And, like, I kind of am under the impression that Hoshino just kind of has this whole, like, weird, like, personal cuteness spectrum that, like, or, like, threshold that he's trying to reach, and it was, like, really weird.
I mean, to be fair, man, like, let's be real, it's kind of gross and weird, but it fucking works.
It's what sells, unfortunately.
It sells, and do you remember when those characters were revealed?
Yeah, people were losing their shit.
Yeah, like, he knows what he's doing. And whether whether that justifies it or not is up to the individual.
Yeah, because I mean, too, I do think, like, I was talking with people on Twitter about this, too, with, like, it's very clear that, like, in Nier Automata, like, man, like, marketing had a lot to do with how those character designs turned out. And it's like, sure, that made that game sell way more, but also, too, that doesn't exonerate the corporate responsibility of, like, you're adding on to a culture where this is a problem, you know? Like, you know, there's a calculus to be played there over, like, how far you can go, and, like, to take into account that even though you're getting a shit ton of money from this, like, what's the greater cultural impact, you know?
Yeah.
So, and you know what? Honestly, something that I mean, some people are listening and probably gonna be like laugh at my face for saying this, but like, man, I kind of wish I would live in a world where like those videos where people are like, more microtransactions, and like their faces like in the thumbnail screaming, but it's very clear it's just faked for the thumbnail. And it was like about this type of stuff, but
Yeah,
no,
but no one actually cares
no
about
one
it.
actually cares.
Everyone wants to hear about how EA fucked it up again.
Yeah. So no, I do, and also too, just in general with like, I think no matter where you're gonna go, you're gonna find a degree of cynicism in like every like online community. But also too, I think with social media, and I mean we've talked about this, it's easier than ever to curate. Like, I'm not gonna lie, there's been people I've unfollowed on, or maybe not even unfollowed, but muted on Twitter just because it's like, it's not that I dislike you, it's just that you put me in a very negative headspace I don't want to be in right now. You know.
Yeah.
And like not even with video game stuff, there's just been some people that, like, I hate to say it, but it's like, is sometimes I don't want to read people having a depression episode when I'm also feeling that way myself, you know. Like, it can be a little much sometimes, and I don't think there's anything wrong with admitting I don't want to partake in that right now. So yeah, I don't know. Also, too, just like, it can be a little scary sometimes, but I feel like if you push back or challenge people on like cynicism, I think a lot more people than you realize would kind of maybe realize, oh, I'm being like, not always, obviously, but like I've definitely had conversations with people where I was like, oh, well, I don't know, I think this, and like kind of try to, what's the word? I'm not disengage, but kind of like de-escalate. And you can find sometimes people are like going into something really hyperbolic and like angry about something or whatever, and then when you give them like a little calm response, they realize, oh, I'm being a little immature or whatever too. So that can
Yeah,
happen.
maybe. I've seen it not happen, but
Well, yeah, and also too, that's a point then too where it's like, oh, that person's just an asshole.
yeah.
So but yeah, also too, like in general, I feel like, I don't know if video games are like the only. I feel like almost every hobby or like anything I've ever looked into, there's always this degree of, oh, it was so much better when I first got into this.
Yeah, of course.
Like I'm starting to see it with tabletop stuff a little bit, where there's always those guys that are like, oh man, none of this bullshit was ever a thing when I played second edition advanced D&D. And it's like, yeah, but also that game isn't very good, so. But yeah. Um, you'll always get that to some degree. Anyways, thanks, Kendall.
Thank you.
Someone asked us if SMT5 will be Switch exclusive. Probably. I don't know.
Yeah. They haven't announced another platform.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Anyone in the chat got any more questions?
I do want to point out one thing, because there was some talk about how, like, about the like character designs for like girls and stuff, and then I don't know how to pronounce Diagonic. Sorry if I botched that. Said some people try to draw parallels between like the fan service female designs and like Duke Nukem and other hyper masculine burly men. Actually, a couple years back, before all he talked about was loot crates, Jim Sterling had a really good video where he talked about how those two things are not the same.
Yeah.
And he boils it down very well to just like the difference is that the hyper masculine buff heroic men is a fantasy for men. Like, sure, some women may see that and be attracted to it, but that's also a power fantasy for men. Whereas like the female dead or alive boob girl is also just for men, which is why they're not. You can't compare those two at all.
Yeah. How do we feel about MMOs? I've never spent all that much time. I think I've talked about. I think I like the idea of MMOs more than actually engaging with that. I think I like things that have multiplayer qualities in an RPG. Like, I think I'm always gonna jive more with stuff like Monster Hunter and Dark Souls than say like the time I spent with FF11 or Ultima Online. Like maybe one day I'll try out 14, but like man, I'm not gonna lie, Zach. I've looked into it more and more, and like I just don't know if that's a game I really think I'm ever gonna care to try and get really into.
Sure. I mean, the most fun is that, like, you can do it with, like, friends and stuff.
Yeah.
I love the idea of MMOs, like, so much. I would say that I tried for a very long time to find the MMO that clicked with me, because I've always wanted one, and I've gone through a lot of them that I just bounced off of or only put a little bit of time into. Final Fantasy 14 was that for me. I've spent since 2013 have been playing it consistently. I'm a little burnt out on it right now. I feel like there's some issues with the content getting repetitive, but I still really really just like the idea of it. I like the idea of a world that is a community and playing with strangers and friends alike and all that stuff. It's really cool. It leads into a lot of manipulative grinding and a lot of like, well, no, you got to keep paying your sub if you want to stay relevant. But if you could put all that stuff aside and just accept that you're paying money to keep the server running, then yeah, I like them. I like them, but I don't think I'll ever get into one as much as I got into 14 again.
I think that's also part of it for me too, where like I'm a little I'm more interested in like buying something that's like a package I don't have to put much more money into, rather than like paying for like a subscription service type thing, because like two things. One is like I don't want to reach that point of like, oh, I don't want to stop because I'll feel like either A, I want to get back in, or B, like I feel like if I don't have this thing, this is just like a weird me thing, but it's like, oh, if I don't have this thing like currently active, I feel like, oh, all that previous time was like for naught when the new content comes out or whatever.
Yeah.
Also too, just with how my life is right now, and also too just like, Zach, you know how I go through games. I buy so much shit and then like spend time here and there, and then we'll like Heat Signature, I'll spend a little bit of time and then I'll go back later and go way the fuck into it. I had Crusader Kings 2 lying around for fucking ever before I even got into it, and then when I did get into it, I spent about like 2.5 weeks going about 80 hours in. So I am so fucking sporadic when it comes to how I play games, and I feel like I'd be actually like not putting in enough time to justify my monthly sub for a lot of months with MMOs.
Yeah. I mean, I don't have a sub up right now. I only get a month when I know I'm gonna play it.
Yeah.
But yeah. So I get that. I do still think at some point you should try out the free trial just because like all your fucking friends played at this point. So
Yeah.
I think one thing that Dragon says again, Dragon, I don't know how to pronounce the Lorita. Dragon Lorita. Home away from home is a good way of putting MMOs, because sometimes they can become way more than a video game to people.
Mm-hmm.
And I felt that way about 14 for a while, where it was like, yeah, sure, but I gotta go be a scholar and do my raid, and it's like sometimes I just want to hang out at the bar in Mordona, with a friend, and like just watch people and talk about gear. I don't know, it was fun.
Volok in the chat is asking if either of us have played a game called The Void.
Never heard about it.
Yeah. I've never heard of it, and I can't find it on the internet.
Man, I want to talk about that .hack sign thing at some point, because like a lot of my feelings about MMOs are because I watched that before I played one.
No.
A lot of my feelings about MMOs are me constantly searching for like some stuff that I imagined when I was going through .hack.
Let's see. So this one is another email from Cole asking, what theme would you want media, like TV shows, movies, games, to do more of? Like, is there a certain theme that you really like that you feel doesn't get enough play?
Theme.
So one thing I guess I'll say is I think one thing that that's filling my heart right now with the Nasu junk food that I've been going through, I kind of want more things that are probably meaningless to most people, but you can tell that the person who wrote it has a lot to say on the subject. Like, I still maintain that I think Karno Kyokai 5 is a movie for no one, to some degree.
It's a movie for me.
Yeah, but like that's the thing though. When it is for you, then it feels extra special. But like, I love sometimes when there's something that's so specific that it's like it makes you question like what the fuck happened in your life that made you want to talk, like that made you want to explore and talk about this. You know, I really like when stuff like that pops up.
Yeah.
So Hellblade came out recently, and I know that there's been some like really love it or hate it reactions to this. I think that games could do a better job with mental illness type stuff, and I think that they are a good medium to represent mental illness through, but I don't think that we're all there with doing it great yet. So I don't know. I think that'd be mine.
Mm-hmm. I feel like I definitely have some, but I can't think of any meaningful.
That's a hard one to like pull out, you know.
I remember a while back asking a bunch of people, like, I think I even posted it on Twitter. I was like, what are some really good, like, betrayals, like best friend, but like imagine Star Wars Episode 3, but good, you know?
No, you should read Berserk.
Yeah, but yeah, I don't know. Themes. If someone could tackle the themes of Silent Hill 2 again, then...
I mean, I'm always really good for, like, existentialist, like, multiversal, like, world hopping, like, large multiversal bullshit like SMT or The Dark Tower.
Yeah. I really like things that like have something to say, you know?
Oof.
Is that good?
That's a good one.
Is that a good one?
That's a good one.
I don't know, man. This one's tough for me right now.
Yeah. All right. Let's see. This one's from Lorita.
This is gonna be awkward.
Oh, she says, "Hey guys, it's Laura." So, Laura, that works too. I don't really have an actual question. Just want to know what all of you are doing for Halloween. Oof, yeah, I forgot. This is still from the old email bucket.
It's older.
I didn't do anything for Halloween. She says, seems everyone I know is playing Mario Odyssey for Halloween and occasionally being inconvenienced by trick-or-treaters. Love your podcasts. Thanks, Laura.
We didn't do emails last podcast, all right? We were tired and went on for like 4 hours about nothing.
About Stranger Things too. I didn't do anything. I've been meaning to go back and play Silent Hill 1, and then like a Two Best Friends Play Let's Play started, and I just kind of been watching that, but I still kind of feel like playing through it myself. So maybe I'll do that. Now that I have this glorious 1080p TV and I can stretch out the image.
Oh, nice. Yeah, or I should do it on my 4K TV, stretch out even more.
Stretch out the image and see, as long as you use the PS1 like filter thing on the PS3, makes it look butter smooth. I have not read Quantum Devil Saga 2 yet. I have a actual stack of books on my desk I really need to get to. I have it, which actually has a bookmark in it. I have Quantum Devil Saga 2, I have Gundam, and I have the Stalker novel.
Is the paperback one available on Amazon again yet?
I don't know. I bought the hardcover.
Did I talk about that?
I think you did.
Like the podcast? Yeah. Let's see. Oh, yep, it is.
I'm excited. I am happy Kevin Frane's still doing stuff.
Add to cart.
I say that like you wrote the books, but he did translate them and he brought them over and stuff, so that's great.
Check out. Okay.
Man, I still have the PDF of Quantum Devil Saga 1 in my documents somewhere, and it just says Quantum Devil Saga 1, and on every page at the top it says review copy for Cathedral of Shadows in all caps. Because we got it like a week early, so we wouldn't leak it.
Nice.
Yeah. Fun times. I think oh no, that's not the only review copy of the thing I've gotten, because I got the weird like controller keyboard mouse thing for PS4.
Best video ever.
Hey, that video is one of my constantly like highest grossing, like every like quarter. It's so fucking weird. Like people want it, I guess. I still use that thing occasionally, but like it's just kind of a pain to set up, so I'm fine using the inferior control method of a controller. Let's see. Any other? Doesn't look like there's any other questions in the chat. Oof.
Oh boy.
I'm dying.
This one hasn't even been going on for as long as we mostly do.
Yeah.
It's only 3 hours.
Yeah, this one's from Quist. I don't know what the fuck that was.
Y'all right there?
No, this one's from Chris, not Quiz.
Quiz? Alright, Quiz, hit me.
This one's from Chris, and he wants to know. Okay, I'm better.
You alright?
I'm better. What do you want?
Do you need to go get some water? Or?
No, I'm fine. What do you want to
Please read that, Rasen.
Hello, this one's from Quiz. Ooh. Sorry, Chris. What do you want to see the most out of media this year? I'm assuming he means 2018. I don't know.
In 2018, the most out of media I really want to see is Heaven's Feel 2 Lost Butterfly.
You know, I wouldn't mind if things slowed the fuck down a little bit.
It's really weird, man. All the games I'm looking forward to next year are fighting games, and I'm really not a big fighting game person.
It's funny.
It is funny. Thank you for agreeing with me. It's funny.
Really funny. I actually hope that next year is not as hectic, because we've had like 3 years in a row now of just like fucking A+ years.
I think given what we got from E3 this year, next year will be a slow one.
Man, this is a random thing to bring up. Because I was looking through my, like I said, like PS4 library of just all the games I've purchased. And I was kind of like, man, I kind of feel like replaying The Last of Us, but like just because of that game. But like, man, like I don't care about Last of Us 2 at all, and like that trailer was.
I don't. I couldn't care less about Last of Us 2.
Man, why did you bring back Joel and Ellie?
I just, honestly, man, even like without the Joel and Ellie thing, I'm kind of over that whole. I don't know.
Universe.
Just the whole tone and genre has been played out right now.
Yeah.
Like I look at the like Last of Us 2 trailer that they showed recently with the hyper-violent post-pop. It's just like Walking Dead. Like, I don't know.
I kind of wish that they would took that type of gameplay and brought it over into something different. I wouldn't have minded that.
Jak and Daxter, let's go.
Yeah. Grimdark, Jak and Daxter.
Yeah, Jak 2, let's go.
Oh, fuck, you're right. What's coming out next year?
Say something just this once. I'm gonna kill Praxis, or whatever the fuck his name was.
Oh, yeah.
Was his name Praxis?
You know, when you think about it, Jak being tortured for all those years is kind of like Sonic Forces.
Oh, dude, Sonic should talk.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why Sonic started talking and classic Sonic doesn't.
Because he was tortured?
Yeah. Like, what if in between, like, Sonic and Knuckles and Sonic Adventure, there was, like, a year of serious torture? And then Sonic came out of it and he started talking, and that's why he handles the torture so well in Forces, because he's been through it. It's old news.
Good one.
The next time, when Sonic Adventure 3 inevitably comes out, and Sonic and Eggman team up again, I want everyone to remember that there was, like, 6 months of hardcore torture every day between those two. Eggman literally tortured Sonic daily for, like, half a year.
Do we get an explanation as to why he doesn't just kill him?
I think it's written off in one line of, like, yeah, he wants to, like, show him the end.
Good.
Like he wants Sonic to see him win.
Good. Any other questions?
But then he's just gonna send him off into space.
Any other questions from the chat? We covered everything. We're email free.
We only had like 3 emails for...
It was more like 5. But...
Okay. Sonic Forces Game of the Year. Sonic Forces will be on my Game of the Year list.
Oh, shit.
Which I have made, and just need to write things for, and then post at the end of the year.
Damn. I lost my phone. I found it. I found my phone. What do you want for Christmas?
Ovan!
You want Ovan for Christmas?
Why did you leave us? When we needed you most? Where are you?
Good job. Proud of you. I think we're good. Thanks everyone for watching us live. I think this was a good live showing.
I want to give shout outs to the exchange of my email was late, I'm never letting this go, followed up with gotta send it early, send the what are you doing Easter one right now.
What Gunpla am I going to buy next? Probably the HG Zeta, because it's like the only like good Zeta kit, it seems, or like decent Zeta kit that doesn't fall the fuck apart because they added in the transform gimmick. But it still has really like kind of crappy stickers.
Sonic Forces is number 8 on my Game of the Year list.
Nice. No, I don't think I'd buy a 1/144th Neo Zeong. I want to buy the SD Neo Zeong though.
Sonic Mania is number 3.
If you're stranded on an island, would you rather have Sonic Forces or Sonic Mania?
No, Ninto. There are 2 games below.
I can't
Sonic
believe
Forces.
I can't believe you've only played 8 games this year, Zach.
But what 2 games could possibly be underneath Sonic Forces? Find out this December.
Yeah, I think we're done here.
Rasen.
Yeah. Fuck. Yeah.
When do you want to go see Justice League together?
I was really thinking about saying it today for the podcast, and then I was like, no.
Yeah, we could have both gone to see a movie today.
Yeah.
Evans Field, Justice League, same thing.
Yep. Hey, I've heard people say it's not BVS, so that's good.
Yeah, sure.
Woo. Come together.
Napoleon, I don't think I'm qualified to give you advice on what to write for your blog. Have you seen mine?
So now that we've done a live podcast, next you gotta do a podcast from the theater as the movie plays.
screw?
Hey, we'll do a movie commentary one day.
Oh, are
Wink,
you hinting
wink.
at things?
Yeah.
Are you hinting at things?
I might be hinting at things.
Uh-oh, there's been talks behind the
There's
scenes.
been talks. Caw-caw, caw-caw.
Oh man, if my blog is part of the reason why you realized you wanted to make a blog, then yeah, fuck it, go write whatever you want.
Yeah, I keep saying this podcast is done, but then I don't know how to end it.
I mean, we're talking
Even-
with the chat, so it's hard.
Yeah, even
Yes.
live.
I mean, could there ever be another way?
Want to stream like a thing?
Like now?
I mean, yeah.
Like what?
I don't know. Like Croc for Game Boy.
What?
Yeah. Or do you have to leave?
I mean, I could stay for a little bit longer. I do have work in the morning, but
Oh,
I can,
okay.
I can stream something for a little bit.
Okay. Let's stream some Croc for the Game Boy. I think we'll transition into that now.
Did you have this like planned?
No. I've been thinking a lot about that we needed to address Croc for the Game Boy though at some point though.
Is this still the podcast?
Yeah, but it's gonna not be soon. Bye everyone. Thanks for
I
listening.
got a Heaven's Feel poster from the movie.
Yay. Seems like a lot of people in the chat actually are saying it's late and have to go. So maybe want to stream Croc tomorrow?
Maybe. We'll talk.
Okay. Yeah, let's just kill this podcast.
Oh god, this is the worst one.
Yeah, it's so good. No, let us know how the live thing went though. Maybe we'll do more.
Yeah, if you guys liked it.
I thought it was fun.
I did too.
All right, bye everyone. Have a good night. God bless and don't see Justice League.
Presage flower.
Yeah. Where's the stop record button? Found it.
Mm.